M. A rough groan slipped from Ethan's throat as awareness crawled back into his body. His eyes cracked open. Above him, tree branches swayed, blotting the sky with a canopy of tangled leaves. "I'm alive," he whispered, pushing himself upright inch by inch. "Where the hell am I?" The air was damp. The forest was wrong, too thick, too silent, the trunks massive and packed, so tightly the light barely reached the ground. This wasn't anywhere he'd ever seen. Then it hit. A wave of memories slammed into him so hard he doubled over. Not his memories. Another Ethan's memories. Ethan Brandon. A life in a world that wasn't his, stitched into his mind like someone forced a second soul into his skull. Each new fragment arrived with pain, sharp and constant, like needles digging behind his eyes. "It feels like my brain's being stabbed." The flood slowed. The ache stayed. And with the last pieces settling into place, his stomach dropped. "I'm talentless." Rage flashed hot and immediate. Damn it. He drove his fist into the dirt, sending a spray of soil across the forest floor. His knuckles throbbed, but it didn't matter. In this world, supernatural abilities weren't rare. They were normal. Being talentless wasn't just embarrassing. It was a slow death sentence. No school bullies here. No harmless cruelty. This Ethan had faced something worse. A society that treated the weak like disposable tools. "So I transmigrated into cannon fodder." His voice came out bitter. "Even in another world, I'm still weak. Still pathetic." He clenched his hands until his nails dug into his palms, forcing himself to breathe. The previous Ethan had trained like a madman just to earn a chance at surviving outside the city walls. And even then, the talented ones had looked through him like he was already dead, not bothering to learn his name because they didn't expect him to last long enough to matter. Ethan swallowed, swallowing the anger with it. Then his gaze swept the area. His breath caught. What happened here? For bodies lay scattered nearby. My teammates. Their uniforms were ripped open, soaked dark with blood. Faces twisted in terror, in pain, frozen that way forever. And not far from them, a huge corpse sprawled in the undergrowth. A wolf-like beast with gray fur and jagged fangs, its body torn by multiple wounds. A shadow fawn wolf. Mid-iron rank. The memories told him that much instantly, like the world itself had stamped the label into his brain. Ethan stared at the spear, still lodged deep in the creature's throat. "At least, he took it down," he murmured, voice tight. "He got revenge before he died." A humorless smile tugged at his lips. Just like me. His mind drifted, dragged back to the riverbank of his old life. The bullying, the constant, endless cruelty, his parents moving towns, burning through their savings just to give him a fresh start. It hadn't mattered. New streets, same fists. New faces, same laughter. Ethan's throat tightened, so it really ended at the riverbank. He remembered Jack and his friends cornering him, the blows, the shove, the icy shock as the water swallowed him. And then Jack reaching out afterward, panicked, realizing what he'd done, terrified of the word murder. Ethan had made his choice in that moment. He'd grabbed Jack's wrist and pulled. If he was going down, he wasn't going down alone. "Mom!" "Dad!" His voice cracked, the words scraping out of him like broken glass. "You won't have to work double shifts for me anymore. Dad, you can finally rest those hands." His eyes burned. "I'm sorry. I couldn't be better. I couldn't stop being a loser." A howl cut through the forest. Ethan froze. The sound wasn't distant. It was close. Too close. Every hair on his body rose as panic surged into his chest. This wasn't Earth. Death here is common. Casual. Like vegetables in a market. Another howl followed. Nearer. Sharper. Ethan scrambled up, forcing his legs to move. Run. He took 2 steps. His foot hooked on an exposed root. Shit. He stumbled and hit the ground hard, the impact knocking the breath out of him. His hand shot out on instinct to catch himself. His palm landed on fur. Cold. Sticky. Blood-matted. The dead shadow fawn wolf. Ethan's eyes widened as something flickered in the corner of his vision. A faint glow. Letters forming in the air. He stared. A holographic screen. His heartbeat slammed against his ribs. Wait. Wasn't he supposed to be talentless? Then why was a system interface lighting up right in front of him? The hologram shuddered into existence at the edge of Ethan's vision, its light cutting through the gloom like a blade. Words slammed into his head in jagged bursts, as if the interface wasn't just showing information, but forcing it into him. Ferocious beast, shadow fang wolf, mid-iron. Devour, talent detected. Enhanced speed, F+. Rank, mid-iron. Ethan blinked hard. I have a talent, he breathed, excitement striking so fast it almost felt like pain. For a second, all the fear vanished, all the helplessness. I can live. He'd read countless stories, systems, golden fingers, cheats that turned losers into legends. He'd even wished for one back on Earth, late at night, staring at his ceiling and imagining a life where he could get rich, take care of his parents, and make every bully choke on regret. Fate hadn't given him that. It had thrown him into a world that wanted him dead. And now, it was finally answering. Devour, Ethan whispered. The word felt strange, heavy. The screen hovered patiently, waiting. Another howl echoed nearby, close enough to tighten his spine. No time. He tapped Devour. Power detonated inside him. Not heat, not lightning. Something deeper, like his blood, remembered how to move differently. His senses sharpened until the world looked clearer, edges brighter. The forest slowed, just slightly, as if time had taken a cautious step back. You have devoured, Shadow Fang Wolf. Ding. Target available for transformation. Ding. Talent acquired. Enhanced speed, F. +3 agility. A full status panel unfolded. Human, Ethan Brandon. Rank, low iron. Talents, enhanced speed, F. Transformations, Shadow Fang Wolf. Level 1. HP, 100 MP, 100. STR, 10 AGI, 13 int, 10 VIG, 10. Free attributes, 0. Skills, none. Ethan's mind raced. The talent grade dropped from F+ to F-, but he didn't care. Not when the meaning was this clear. He could take talents from the creatures he killed. Stats 2. One corpse at a time. He could build himself into something that couldn't be ignored. His eyes caught on one line. Transformations. Shadow Fang Wolf. Ethan selected it instantly. The change came like water. His bones didn't snap. His skin didn't tear. His body simply flowed, rearranging as smoothly as breath. In seconds, he stood on 4 legs, fur rippling along his sides, claws digging into soil. It felt natural, like he'd always been this. This is insane. Before he could marvel further, a howl ripped through the air again, almost right behind him. Ethan turned. A second Shadow Fang Wolf stepped out from behind a tree, drawn by blood and death. Up close, it was enormous. A killing machine wrapped in fur. Ethan tensed, but the beast's gaze slid over him without hostility. No recognition. To it, Ethan was just another wolf. It padded toward the corpses of his teammates and began feeding, jaws crunching through bone like dry sticks. Ethan watched, heart pounding. I can't stay weak. He moved, silent, controlled. The feeding wolf stayed locked on its meal. When a moment was perfect, Ethan lunged. His fangs found the throat cleanly, like his body already knew where to strike. He ripped, tore, held on. The other wolf thrashed, but it was too late. Blood spilled fast. Vital arteries collapsed. Ethan finished it with a brutal bite to the chest, puncturing deep until the resistance disappeared. The beast sagged and fell. As Ethan's claws raked through its chest, his paw hit something hard. He pulled it out. A crystal, faintly glowing. A core. Ethan murmured, memories from the other Ethan snapping into place. Beast cores. Energy condensed inside a creature's body. Absorb them to strengthen yourself, climb ranks. Higher grade meant purer energy. Stronger gains. The screen flickered again. Mid-iron rank core. Devour. Ethan didn't hesitate. The crystal vanished the instant he accepted, dissolving into cold wisps that poured into his body like liquid winter. His muscles loosened. His bones felt lighter. +5 agility. Ethan stared. 5. That was huge. He immediately went back to the first wolf's corpse, searched, and found another core. Devoured it. Plus 5 agility. Energy surged through him, clean and powerful. He opened his status. Human, Ethan Brandon. Rank, mid-iron. Talents, enhanced speed, F. Transformations, Shadow Fang Wolf, mid-iron. Level 1. HP, 200 MP, 200. STR, 10 AGI, 23 int, 10 vit, 10. Free attributes, 0. Skills, none. Mid-iron. He understood the threshold now. 20 points in one attribute, and you cross the line. Most people needed piles of low-iron cores, slowly refining the energy over time. He did it with 2, and he did it instantly. Ethan looked back at the second wolf's body. A prompt appeared without him even touching it. Ferocious Beast, Shadow Fang Wolf. Devour. Talent, enhanced speed, F. His pulse spiked. He selected Devour. You have devoured, Shadow Fang Wolf. Plus 3 agility. His talent grade didn't change, but he could feel it deepen, like the same ability being sharpened again and again. Ethan exhaled, almost laughing. So this is my golden finger. He should have felt only triumph. But his chest tightened instead, and for a few seconds, the forest blurred. Mom, Dad, he whispered. I'm sorry. I hope you live better without me. I hope you get peace. He swallowed hard, then forced himself back into focus. According to the memories, the city lay north, less than a kilometer away. Staying out here alone was suicide, no matter how strong he'd become. He shifted back into human form, smooth and quick, and activated enhanced speed. The world snapped into motion. His legs became springs. The forest turned into a rushing smear of green and shadow as he sprinted, faster than any athlete he'd ever seen on Earth. 200 meters vanished. 300. 4. Stone walls rose ahead, tall and gray, cutting through the trees like a promise of safety. Guards on the ramparts spotted him. One raised a hand. Hold fire, a captain barked. It's one of ours. Weapons lowered. The gate began to grind open. Inside, Captain Morrison was waiting. Aren't you from 7th Squad? The officer asked, eyes narrowing. Where are the others? Ethan kept his face steady. They're dead, he said. Shadow Fang Wolf attack. They held it off and told me to run for reinforcements. When I could have returned, it was already over. Morrison's expression didn't soften. If anything, it looked tired. Talentless squads died every day. Everyone knew it. Everyone accepted it. Take the rest of the day, Morrison ordered. Report tomorrow. You'll be reassigned. Ethan nodded and turned to leave. As he walked away, a status window flickered briefly in his vision, as if the system was curious. Human, Captain James Morrison. Rank, Peak Ire. Talent, Strength Enhancement, E. Skills, Basic Stone Fist, Novice 20%. No Devour icon. Ethan's eyes narrowed. So either I can only devour the dead, or I can only devour beasts. Either way, the rule mattered, because once he understood the rules, he could start breaking the world with them.
Hey everyone, Firescale Audiobooks here. If there's a novel you'd love to hear more of, you can support us on Patreon or Ko-fi. Depending on your tier, I'll make extra parts just for the stories you're most excited about. Usually I can only upload 4 to 5 parts of each novel, but with your support, we can go beyond that. And of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. It helps more than you know.
Hunger and poverty drove Ethan toward the military canteen, his stomach growling in harmony with his dwindling finances. The soldiers' pay was barely enough to survive on, which was 2 iron-grade cores per month, especially for someone labeled talentless. They weren't expected to need long-term financial planning. The canteen occupied the ground floor of a utilitarian concrete building, its high windows letting in streams of midday light that cast harsh shadows across the metal tables arranged in rows. The day's lunch was some kind of meat stew, a basic but nutrient-rich fare designed to fuel soldiers rather than please palates. The steam rising from the serving stations carried a blend of familiar spices, the military's attempt to make the synthetic meat somewhat palatable. Ethan joined the queue, and before long a person called for him. Ethan! Ethan turned to find Jack Chin standing behind him, dressed in the gray uniform of the city wall guards. The fabric was notably cleaner than the mud-stained attire of frontline scouts like himself. Human, Jack Chun. Rank, low iron. Danger sense talent, F gray. Skills, basic 6th sense novice. At 18, they were the same age, but Jack's position as a wall guard meant he'd likely live to see 19, a luxury many talentless couldn't count on. Although Jack had the same rank as the previous Ethan, which was low iron, they were not on the same strength level. Since Jack was given more iron cores to absorb, which granted him more attribute points. I heard about your mission today, Jack said, genuine concern etched on his features as he patted Ethan's shoulder. Scouting the surroundings? I'm glad you made it back alive. Thanks, I appreciate it, Ethan replied, studying his fellow expendable carefully. His predecessor's memories painted Jack as a classmate from the academy, both of them drafted into military service as cannon fodder. But unlike Ethan, who had been cursed with no talent, Jack's F-grade danger sense had saved him from frontline duty, relegating him to wall guard instead. A cushy position, relatively speaking. Furthermore, Ethan was given 1 iron core to reach the low iron core grade. Meanwhile, Jack was given more. The serving staff filled their trays, ladling out their portions. The stew landed in their bowls with a wet splat, chunks of meat floating in thick brown gravy. Mind if I join you? Jack asked, following Ethan toward one of the corner tables. My relief doesn't start for another hour, and I'd love to hear how you manage to survive out there. Might help me last longer if I ever get reassigned to the front. Ethan nodded, choosing a table with good sight lines to both exits, old habits from his previous life dying hard. He sat with his back to the wall, a position that would have made Jack Thompson, his bully from his past life, mock him mercilessly. The irony wasn't lost on him. As they ate, Jack leaned forward, voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. So, tell me, how did you really survive out there? Everyone knows the survival rate for talentless scouts is... He trailed off, realizing too late he was stepping into dangerous territory. Ethan paused, spoon halfway to his mouth. The memories of both lives intertwined in his mind. The terror of drowning, the rage of revenge, his transmigration. But those weren't stories he could share. My whole team died, he said finally, voice flat. I survived by mere coincidence. Jack's expression went blank for a second before horror crept across his features as he realized his massive social blunder. I am sorry, he stammered, pushing his food around his plate. I shouldn't have. It's fine. Ethan cut him off. Don't worry about it. But I really can't help. I don't know how I survived myself. The lie came easily to his lips. The truth, after all, was far more complicated. The previous Ethan, the original owner of this body, had long since died in that forest. As he watched Jack fumble through an awkward attempt to change the subject, Ethan couldn't help but wonder, how many talents would he need to devour before he could live normally without worrying about being bullied, or being a prey like the other Ethan was? After Jack left, Ethan tried to think through some excuses that he could use to showcase his new power at some point. He knew that he couldn't hide forever, and he would need to use his talent at some point. He would definitely not show that he can transform into a monster, but he can show that he has a talent such as speed talent. And after some deep searching in Ethan's memories, or his memories now, he thought of the Second Awakening. The Second Awakening represented one of this world's greatest mysteries. After the First Awakening, the crucial moment in adolescence when talents either manifested or didn't, most paths were set. The talented advanced. The talentless served. The system functioned with brutal efficiency. But the Second Awakening defied this ordered system. Only 3 documented cases existed in recorded history, each surrounded by intensive study and speculation. The first occurred 50 years ago. A talentless merchant suddenly manifested C-grade fire manipulation during a bandit attack. The second case emerged during the Beast Tide around 18 years ago. A sunny afternoon in the academy courtyard, 6 years ago. 3 older students harassing a young girl with glasses, trying to steal her research notes. Ethan, even then physically unremarkable, standing between them. He'd taken a beating that day, but at least the bullies had left without the notes. Tiana had helped him to the infirmary afterwards, her small hands surprisingly steady as she dabbed at his cuts. That was the beginning. Through their remaining academy years, they'd grown closer. She would share her dreams of revolutionary research. He would listen, content to be part of her world, even peripherally. Then came the awakening ceremony. Students gathered in the Great Hall, each approaching the talent measurement crystal in turn. Tiana's crystal had blazed with blue light, B-grade analytical talent. The research firms had approached her before she even left the stage. When Ethan's turn came, the crystal remained dark. No talent, no future. The military recruiters had approached him the next day. His predecessor's last interaction with Tiana played out in his memory. She had caught him as he left the headmaster's office, her eyes red from crying. "We can find another way," she had insisted. "My research internship, the salary is very good." "We could," but he had stopped her there. His memories carried the weight of that moment, the pride and shame warring in his heart. "We can't. I hope you have a nice life," he had said, the words tasting like ash in his mouth. He had always believed that a person who can't protect his spouse doesn't deserve to have one. And he didn't want to be that person. She had tried to argue, but he walked away. The next day, he reported for military duty. He never saw her again, though his predecessor would sometimes catch glimpses of her name on research publications posted in the city center. Standing now in District 3, Ethan assessed this inherited heartbreak from a distance. His devoured speed talent and the protection of being a second awakening case had changed the equation. He could, theoretically, seek her out now, although the gap between them remained vast at this moment. His F- grade talent, even with the mystique of a second awakening, paled beside her established position currently. More importantly, he wasn't the man she had loved. He wore that man's face and carried his memories, but the soul behind his eyes belonged to someone else entirely. He turned away from the direction of District 2. It's not like he could afford anything there anyway. The next day arrived with the familiar sound of the military compound's morning bell. Ethan opened his eyes to the dim light filtering through the barracks' small window. The cramped room he shared with 3 other soldiers barely had enough space for their narrow beds and storage lockers. Private quarters were a luxury reserved for talented soldiers, another reminder of the division between those with abilities and those without. The morning air carried a chill that the thin military-issued blankets barely kept at bay. Ethan rose quietly, careful not to disturb his roommates who had drawn the night watch shift. Their soft breathing and occasional shifting provided a mundane soundtrack to his morning routine. The worn floorboards creaked beneath his feet as he made his way to his locker, retrieving his toiletries. The communal bathroom was already occupied when he arrived, several other soldiers performing their morning ablutions. Steam from the showers fogged the mirrors, though the water itself was lukewarm at best. Hot water, like many other comforts, was rationed based on rank and talent. Ethan quickly washed his face and brushed his teeth, his movements on automatic mode as his mind wandered to the day ahead of him. With 10 minutes remaining before breakfast service began, Ethan made his way to the canteen. He wasn't surprised to find a substantial line had already formed. Dozens of soldiers, most wearing the same worn expression as himself, waited for the doors to open. Their uniforms marked them as fellow expendables, scouts, wall patrol, and maintenance crews. The talented soldiers, with their enhanced salaries and privileges, could afford to dine in District 2's restaurants or have meals delivered to their quarters. The line shuffled forward as the canteen doors opened, releasing the smell of plain porridge and eggs. Ethan observed his fellow soldiers with new eyes, his status window occasionally flickering to life as he scanned the crowd. Most showed no talent indicators at all, confirming their status as fellow talentless recruits. The few that did display talents were F-grade, just enough to earn them slightly better positions, but not enough to escape District 3 entirely. After consuming his portion of the bland breakfast, Ethan made his way to the city walls for his reassignment. Captain Morrison stood atop the wall's observation platform, issuing orders to a group of soldiers who listened with varying degrees of attention. Ethan waited patiently, using the time to observe the captain more carefully than he had yesterday. Morrison's movements betrayed his E-grade enhancement talent, subtle but present, his gestures carrying more force than strictly necessary. A holdover from years of unconsciously channeling his ability, Ethan supposed. When the other soldiers dispersed, Ethan approached. "Captain, I'm here for reassignment," he reported, maintaining the proper military bearing his predecessor's memory supplied. Morrison glanced at him, recognition flickering across his face. "You'll remain with Squad 7, he stated matter-of-factly. 4 more members will be joining you." Ethan nodded, carefully hiding his satisfaction. This was exactly what he'd hoped for. A safer position like wall guard duty would limit his opportunities to encounter and devour new beasts. Each new talent and transformation he could acquire represented another step away from being cannon fodder, another tool for survival and advancement. The 4 new squad members arrived shortly after, their postures and expressions revealing their talentless status before any formal introduction. Like most military recruits, they've been given a single iron core to achieve low iron rank before being drafted, the minimal enhancement necessary for basic survival in their dangerous role. Their names and faces blurred together in Ethan's mind. Zhang, Liu, Wang, and Chun, all of them young, all of them carrying the resigned look of those who understood their role as expendable assets. Morrison outlined their mission with efficiency. Once again, they would be responsible for clearing the 500-meter radius around the city walls. Any anomalies or monster sightings were to be reported immediately. Standard procedure forbade engagement with anything above low iron rank, though Ethan knew from his predecessor's memories how often necessity overrode such regulations. The captain's briefing focused heavily on threat assessment and escape routes, his tone suggesting he'd given this speech countless times before. "Remember," he emphasized, "your primary role is reconnaissance. If you encounter anything unusual, report back immediately. Don't try to be heroes." The 500-meter zone was known to host primarily low-iron rank beasts, with occasional mid-iron specimens seeking easier prey near human settlements. Each one represented potential new talent to devour, new abilities to add to his growing arsenal. The challenge would be finding opportunities to hunt without revealing his abilities to his squad mates. The morning sun climbed higher as Morrison concluded the briefing, its light reflecting off the city's defensive barriers. Beyond the walls, the forest waited, teeming with beasts and opportunities. Ethan checked his standard-issue spear, its iron-reinforced tip barely adequate for low-iron rank threats. But unlike yesterday, he now had his secret weapon, the ability to transform into a Shadowfang wolf, and the enhanced speed talent he'd already acquired. He also had the agility of a mid-iron rank warrior. The city gates groaned shut behind them. For soldiers, one mission. Ethan surveyed the terrain. It was his second time in the forest. "I should take charge," Ethan said. "I've survived these patrols once before." Chen nodded, but the others didn't seem to agree. Taylor stepped forward. "Survived by running, you mean?" His lips curved into something between a smile and a snarl. "Left your whole team to die while you save yourself." Ethan's fingers tightened on his weapon. The accusation stung, not because it was true, but because the original Ethan had died out here just yesterday. These replacements had no idea they were standing where their predecessor's blood had soaked into the earth. "Going alone is suicide," Ethan said. "Better alone than with a coward." Taylor turned to the others. "We split up. Cover more ground that way. Stay within sight of the walls if you're smart." He glanced at his spear, then at the forest. "Meet back here in 6 hours. Don't try anything heroic." Chun hesitated, looking between Ethan and Taylor. "Wait up," he called, jogging after Taylor. 2 sets of eyes are better than one. The remaining soldier, Zhang, didn't even speak, just picked a direction and vanished into the trees. Perfect. Ethan waited until their footsteps faded. Ethan did not walk 100 meters before he heard sound. A branch snapped to his left. Ethan froze. 20 meters away, a razorback boar. Razorback boar, their talent is iron enhancement. They could coat their tusks with iron, increasing their already formidable power. Ethan muttered, "Ferocious beast, razorback boar, rank, mid-ire, iron enhancement talent, F plus gray." The razorback boar was as talented as the shadow fawn wolf, with an F plus gray talent. Their rank was also the same. The boar did not give Ethan a chance to strategize before its muscles tensed and its hooves dug into the hearth as it prepared to launch. Its iron-enhanced tusks gleamed as it launched forward with explosive force. The ground erupted beneath its charge, soil and stones scattering. Ethan activated his enhanced speed talent. The world shifted, and the boar's movements became more distinct and more readable. He twisted aside as the boar thundered past, its tusks missing him by centimeters. The displacement of air alone made his clothes snap. His spear darted forward, seeking the boar's flesh. The boar pivoted with unexpected agility, catching the spearhead on its tusks. Metal screamed against metal. Sparks flew. Clang! The impact traveled up Ethan's arms, nearly wrenching the weapon from his grip. They reset positions and circled around each other. The boar's eyes tracked his movements. After several exchanges of strikes, Ethan realized that with each failed strike his spear was becoming more dull, while leaving his opponent relatively unharmed. The boar charged once again. Ethan dodged, countered, and met the same metallic defense. His enhanced speed kept him alive, but accomplished little else. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he analyzed the situation he was in. His attributes told the story. The agility of 23 meant he could avoid death and harm, but the strength of 10 left him unable to penetrate the boar's defenses. The pattern continued. Charge, dodge, strike, sparks. Each exchange brought them closer to an inevitable conclusion. Ethan's stamina would fade. His speed would falter. The boar would gore him through. Unless the spear clattered to the forest floor. The boar's charge faltered momentarily, instincts warning of a trap. Ethan embraced the transformation, letting it flow through him like water. His bones shifted, and his muscles and ligaments realigned. His perspective lowered as his form changed to that of the shadow fawn wolf. Where human had stood, a shadow fawn wolf now crouched. The boar's small eyes widened, its primitive brain struggling to process the impossibility of a human becoming a ferocious beast. Then its combat instincts reasserted control. Enemy was enemy, regardless of shape. The boar's next charge carried even greater fury. Ethan's wolf form leapt aside. His jaws snapped at the boar's flank as it passed, teeth finding purchase where the spear could not. Blood sprayed. The boar squealed in pain and rage. It spun with shocking speed, tusks sweeping in a deadly arc. Ethan disengaged, feeling the wind of their passage. His wolf transformation had higher strength than his body, and he had finally drawn blood, but the boar's strong hide had prevented serious damage. They circled again, each reassessing their opponent. The boar's blood marked the soil, and the wound was causing it pain it hadn't suffered ever. The boar altered its strategy, making shorter charges with quicker turns. Its tusks swept through complex patterns, forcing Ethan to expend more energy dodging. Each near miss made Ethan sigh in relief. He really didn't want to feel those tusks in his body. Ethan's wolf instincts merged with human tactical awareness. The boar was trying to tire him, but in doing so, it revealed patterns. Its turns favored the right side. Its tusks swept predictably. Most importantly, its iron enhancement talent didn't cover its eyes. He waited for the next charge, timing his dodge perfectly. As the boar started its favored right turn, Ethan lunged left. His jaws found the soft flesh behind its jaw, just below the ear where the iron enhancement was weakest. Blood filled his mouth as his teeth punctured vital arteries. The boar screamed. Its tusks swept back, forcing Ethan to release his hold. But the damage was done. Blood pulsed from a wound in steady spurts. The boar staggered, its movements growing erratic as blood loss took its toll. It tried one final charge, trying to take its killer to the afterlife with it, but Ethan met it head-on, ducking beneath the sweeping tusks. His jaws found its throat. He clamped down, using his wolf form's strength to maintain his grip as the boar thrashed around helplessly. Gradually, inevitably, the struggles weakened. The boar's movements became uncoordinated. Its blood-slicked legs folded. When it finally collapsed, Ethan maintained his hold until he felt its last breath rattle out. Ferocious beast, razorback boar, devour. Rank, mid-iron. Iron enhancement talent, F plus gray. Victory brought more than just survival. Another talent to devour. Another form to master. Devour, Ethan muttered with a soft but tired smile on his face. You have devoured the razorback boar. Ding. Razorback boar is available for transformation. Ding. You have received the following talent, Iron Enhancement Talent, F minus grade, plus 3 vitality. Ethan walked towards the boar's corpse before he raised his hand and penetrated its chest to pull out the core. Low iron rank core devour. Ethan devoured the core, which turned into wisps of energy that entered his body. Plus 5 vitality. His status window updated. Human, Ethan Brandon. Rank, mid-iron. Talents, enhanced speed, F minus grade. Iron enhancement, F minus grade. Transformations, Shadow Fawn Wolf, mid-iron. Razorback Boar, mid-iron. Level 1. Health points, 180 mana points, 100. Strength, 10 agility, 32 intelligence, 10 vitality, 18. Free attributes, 0. Skills, none. The talent's grade had decreased as expected. F plus became F dash, just as the wolf's talent had diminished when absorbed. But it was still power. Meat is meat, even if it's the size of a mosquito's leg. Ethan muttered before a distant scream interrupted his moment of triumph. The screams were that of human voices, shuddering in terror. Ethan recognized the voices. It was Taylor and Chun. They had most likely been found by a ferocious beast in their reckless exploration. Ethan smiled, his wolf form's fangs still stained with boar's blood. Time to see what other talents this forest had to offer. Although Ethan didn't want to help them, since he felt that they reminded him of Jack's group from his past life, Ethan still decided to help Taylor and Shun for one reason. I don't want to raise unnecessary suspicions towards me. My previous team had already died. If those also died and I remain alive, alone, once again, I will be put on a watch list, most likely. Blood filled Ethan's nostrils as he arrived near the scene. Rich, metallic, human. His wolf body moved through the forest with liquid grace, each pawfall silent on the rotting leaves. The scent grew stronger until he found them. Chun was kneeling in mud that turned to crimson paste. His severed hand lies forgotten like discarded meat, fingers still twitching in death spasms. The blood pumps from his wrist in weakening pulses. Tick, 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 a countdown. Taylor stands rigid, his own blood threading down his arm where the missing finger should be. The spear trembles in his remaining grip. Sweat cuts clean lines through the dirt on his face. Above them stood the mid-iron wolf. Muscles ripple beneath its silver-gray coat. But it's the eyes that freeze blood, yellow irises gleaming with an almost human pleasure at the terror it creates. This is no mere beast. This is an artist of fear. Ferocious beast, Shadow Fawn Wolf, rank. Mid-iron, enhanced speed talent, F plus gray. The status window flashes in Ethan's vision, but he hardly needs it. Power radiates from the creature like heat from a forge. Chun sees Ethan first. His face, already pale as chalk, goes somehow whiter. "We are dead." The words come out in a broken whisper. His sword clatters to stone. His knees fold. Something in his mind audibly snaps. Taylor's eyes dart between Chin's crumpled body before his eyes floor the direction he was looking at. His muscles tense spontaneously. His pupils dilated and the animal brain took control. Run! Not a warning, a confession. The spear in Taylor's hand drops to the floor. Chun looks up, hope flickering in his eyes like a candle in the wind. Taylor! But Taylor was already moving past Chun, past hope, past humanity. Pure survival instinct. He doesn't look back. Can't look back. Chin's face crumples as understanding hits. His head turns with terrible slowness to watch his last chance disappear. When he looks back, the mid-iron wolf's fangs are inches from his face, stretched in an almost smile. The wolf's satisfaction fills the area like poison gas. It's orchestrated this moment, drawn out the hunt until betrayal could season the meat. This isn't food. This is poetry written in blood and fear. Ethan moves closer. Opportunity and instinct pull him forward. The larger wolf's head snaps toward him, a howl splitting the air like thunder. Mine! 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 Ethan doesn't stop. The mid-iron wolf turns fully, its howl dropping to a bass note that vibrates in Ethan's bones. Its eyes promise death, dominance, and hierarchy. Chun lies forgotten between them, a prey piece in a predator's game. His remaining hand claws uselessly at dirt. Move! Damn it! He begs his frozen body. But terror has turned his muscles to stone. The mid-iron wolf explodes into motion. Its F+ grade enhanced speed talent turns it into living lightning. Fangs slash through the space where Ethan's throat had been a heartbeat before. Ethan's own enhanced speed talent sings in his blood. The boar fight taught him well. He rolls under the attack, comes up snapping. But the larger wolf is already gone, twisting away like smoke. The mid-iron wolf moves with the casual power of a killer who has never known defeat. The larger wolf blurs forward again. But Ethan sees the tell, haunches tensing, weight shifting. Instead of dodging, he leans in, takes the glancing blow to position for the counter. His fangs find flesh. Tear. Rip. Blood sprays. The mid-iron wolf's snarl of rage shakes leaves from branches. Its next attacks come faster, harder. Chun watches, transfixed. His own wounds are forgotten as titans clash above him. Blood rains on leaves. Branches snap like gunshots. Each pass brings the mid-iron wolf's fangs closer to ending it. The mid-iron wolf strikes again. Faster this time. Its jaws miss Ethan's throat by millimeters. The air displaces with an audible snap. Ethan rolls left. Dirt and leaves spray under his paws. The larger wolf's attacks leave no room for error. Each bite could end the fight instantly. Their movements accelerate until the forest becomes a blur. Enhanced speed talents ignite simultaneously, transforming the clearing into an arena of supernatural combat. The mid-iron wolf strikes first, its larger form cutting through air with lethal power. Ethan sidesteps, his movements fluid and controlled. He's strong. Ethan analyses as he weaves through another attack. But I feel like I'm stronger. The mid-iron wolf snarls in frustration as another attack misses. Chun watches from the ground, his own blood pooling beneath his severed wrist. Impossible, his thoughts race. The smaller wolf, it's reading the bigger one's movements. But how? Ethan launches a counterattack, his fangs finding purchase on the larger wolf's hind leg. Blood sprays. The mid-iron wolf howls in pain and rage. You dare? The larger wolf's eyes blaze with fury. It unleashes a barrage of attacks, each bite aimed to kill. This is my territory, my prey. But Ethan is already moving, dodging most attacks. Chen's eyes widen as he watches. Their speed, I can barely track them. But the smaller one, it's slightly faster. The mid-iron wolf overextends on an attack. Ethan capitalizes instantly. His fangs tear through the larger wolf's shoulder, ripping muscle and tendon. More blood stains the forest floor. The larger wolf stumbles, its wounded leg failing to support its weight. Frustration turns to desperation in its yellow eyes. Its attacks become wilder and less controlled. The mid-iron wolf launches another desperate attack. Ethan meets it head-on this time. He takes the brunt of the damage, but his fangs find the larger wolf's throat. Checkmate. Ethan thinks as his jaws clamp down. The mid-iron wolf thrashes, but Ethan's grip is perfect. No leverage. No escape. Just like holding Jack underwater. Once you have the right position, superior strength means nothing. Blood flows freely now. The larger wolf's struggles weaken. Its enhanced speed talent flickers and fails as consciousness fades. The mid-iron wolf collapses, its life flowing out onto the forest floor. Its final thought carries a note of bewildered respect. Ferocious beast. Shadow Fong wolf. Devour. Rank. Mid-iron. Enhanced speed talent. F+ gray. Ethan glanced at Chun, who had finally managed to stand on trembling legs. Blood continued to drip from his severed wrist, but survival instinct had overridden the shock. Chen's thoughts raced as the victorious wolf turned toward him. His muscles had inexplicably regained their function now that the mid-iron wolf lay dead. The bitter irony of finally being able to move when faced with a second predator was not lost on him. But the wolf's gaze passed over him with surprising indifference. Instead, it walked toward its fallen opponent, displaying no interest in a second kill. He doesn't want to eat me, Chen realized, hope surging through his veins. Without waiting for the situation to change, he turned and ran in the direction Taylor had taken, his remaining hand clutching his wounded arm. After confirming Chen's departure, Ethan approached the dead wolf. The devouring process would leave no visible changes to the corpse, making it safe to perform even if Chen had stayed. Still, privacy allowed for proper analysis of the results. The familiar surge of power coursed through him as he activated his ability. Then the notifications appeared. You have devoured the Shadow Fang wolf. Ding. You have gained +2 agility. Ding. Shadow Fang wolf is available for transformation. Ding. You have upgraded the following talent, Enhanced Speed Talent. Ding. Enhanced Talent Grade, F-. Ding. You have upgraded the following transformation, Shadow Fang wolf. Ding. Shadow Fang wolf, mid-iron - high iron. Ethan transformed back to his human form, mind racing as he processed these developments. The implications were significant. Not only had his enhanced speed talent improved by a subgrade, jumping from F- to F, but his transformation had exceeded even the mid-iron rank of his defeated opponent, reaching high iron rank. Ethan contemplated for a while before he reached a conclusion. So devouring a species 3 times means I could upgrade the talent and transformation by a subgrade. That's pretty powerful. Ethan muttered as he dug out the iron core inside the wolf's dead corpse. Ethan devoured the iron core without hesitation. Ding. You have gained +4 agility. Ethan raised his eyebrow softly. The amount of agility attributes he received after devouring the core and the body had decreased. It used to be 5 points and 3 points, but it dropped down to 4 points and 2 points respectively. It seems like I can't keep increasing my agility forever. It has diminishing returns. But logically, this should be resolved by devouring stronger Shadow Fang wolves or other agility-based ferocious beasts. Ethan's eyes caught the red smoke rising above the tree line, its crimson color shining against the morning sky. The emergency signal device, standard equipment for all teams, had finally been activated. He recognized the location, close to the city walls. They used it, Ethan muttered. Chen must have reached relative safety before deploying the signal. The standard protocol required all team members to converge at the signal's location, assuming they survived to do so. The timing was problematic. Ethan had intended to search for more beasts, so that he could devour them, but Chen had ruined that plan. Ethan examined his status window one final time before departing. Human, Ethan Brandon. Rank, high iron. Talents, enhanced speed, F grade. Iron enhancement, F- grade. Transformations, Shadow Fang wolf, high iron. Razorback boar, mid iron. Level 1. Health points, 240 mana points, 100. Strength, 10 agility, 32 intelligence, 10 vitality, 24. Free attributes, 0. Skills, none. The attribute gains from devouring both the wolf and its core had significantly improved his capabilities. He had also reached a high iron rank, which proved to him that attributes above 30 made a person reach the high iron rank. However, the diminishing returns on the core absorption suggested a natural limitation, but one that could be overcome by hunting stronger specimens. Each beast of the same species would provide marginally less benefit, necessitating the pursuit of more powerful targets. The red smoke continued to climb, dispersing in the light breeze. You've ruined my momentum, Chen. The gates groaned open as Ethan approached. Zhang stood alone in the entrance area, his uniform clean and undamaged. No sign of blood or combat. Chen and Taylor's absence was expected. The infirmary would be busy trying to save what remained of their limbs. Ethan studied Zhang with interest. Either the man had exceptional survival instincts or remarkable luck. Perhaps both. In this world, sometimes avoiding trouble altogether showed more skill than surviving it. Scout Brandon. Captain Morrison's voice cut through his observations. The captain approached. Report. Zhang shifted slightly, his eyes meeting Ethan's. A silent communication passed between them. Interesting. Sir, Ethan began, adopting the proper military stance. After deployment, the team experienced immediate disciplinary issues. Taylor and Chun broke formation against direct orders. Explain their actions more clearly. Morrison commanded, his face hardening. They chose to separate from the group, sir. Taylor suggested splitting up to cover more ground. When I advised against it, citing standard protocols, they disregarded the warning. Ethan kept his voice neutral, stating facts rather than accusations. Zhang nodded slightly, confirming the account. It's true, sir. Brandon attempted to maintain unit cohesion. Morrison's frown deepened. His fingers drummed against his leg before he said, Continue. Zhang and I maintained position together, Ethan said. We responded to the emergency signal when it was deployed. Beyond that, I have no direct knowledge of events involving the other team members. The captain's eyes narrowed. Nothing else to report? No encounter details? 2 soldiers returned with severe injuries, and you saw nothing? Ethan met his gaze. I can only report what I witnessed firsthand, sir. Speculation would be inappropriate. A calculating look crossed Morrison's face. He turned to Zhang. Your account. Same as Brandon's, sir. Morrison clasped his hands behind his back, analyzing both soldiers. You understand that abandoning formation during scout duty is a capital offense. Their actions endangered not just themselves, but yours too. Yes, sir. Both soldiers responded in unison. The investigation will determine their fate, Morrison continued. However, the mission parameters haven't changed. The 500-meter perimeter still needs clearing. He gestured to a group of soldiers waiting nearby. 2 more scouts will join you. The new cannon fodder stuck close together, Morrison's warnings still fresh in their minds. No one wanted to end up like Chun and Taylor, sustaining a serious injury whilst also waiting for their punishment for breaking the rules. Hours passed. The forest remained surprisingly quiet. Almost too quiet. Our mission is over, Ethan announced finally. Let's head back. Before the team could respond, a snort shattered the forest silence. Not just any snort, the kind that makes your survival instinct scream. Ferocious beast, razorback boar, rank, mid-ire, iron enhancement talent, F plus gray. Time slowed. Options flashed through Ethan's mind like game prompts. Fight? No. Too many witnesses. Run? Yes, but for a purpose. Run, he shouted. All different directions. It can't chase everyone. No one needed convincing. The scouts scattered like startled birds, each choosing their own path to potential survival. Even Zhang, who'd shown such composure before, vanished. Ethan deliberately slowed his pace. Just enough to be the most tempting target. Just enough to make the boar's choice obvious. The thundering footsteps behind him confirmed his plan worked. Perfect. A quick glance confirmed his solitude. No witnesses. No complications. Time to change the game. Transformation initiated. Shadow Fong Wolf, High Iron. The change felt different this time. He felt much more powerful. His status window was updated with an unexpected surprise. Transformation. Shadow Fong Wolf, High Iron. Wow. Ethan thought as his body completed the transformation. Ethan felt the power that surged through his new form. This wasn't the same wolf that had struggled against the mid-iron Shadow Fong earlier. The razorback boar skidded to a halt, its small eyes widening in confusion. The easy prey it had been chasing had vanished, replaced by a predator that radiated dangerous power. Its iron-enhanced tusks suddenly seemed less impressive against a high iron-ranked opponent. His own enhanced speed talent increased his agility attribute by 1.5x. His agility attribute had reached 45, 30x 1.51. A grin spread across his wolf features. Time to test this upgraded transformation. 1 second the boar was staring down its prey. The next, reality glitched. In the boar's eyes, Ethan in his wolf transformation simply vanished. No blur of movement. No warning. Just empty space where a wolf had been. The boar's enhanced might as well have been running on dial-up internet trying to track him. This is insane, Ethan thought, his consciousness flowing through his new form like he'd unlocked a secret character in a fighting game. Everything felt lighter, faster, more responsive. His previous wolf form was like playing on normal difficulty. This was hard mode. The air cracked. Wham! The impact sent the boar ragdolling through a massive tree. Not into it, through it. The trunk, thick as two men, snapped like someone had deleted its middle section from existence. Wooden shrapnel exploded outward in a perfect cone of destruction. Thud. Shit, Ethan thought as he glanced at his claws. That was supposed to be a test hit. The boar lay embedded in splintered wood and disturbed earth. One casual swipe had nearly ended the fight. No achievement notification was needed to tell him he'd just broken the game's balance. The gap between mid-iron and high iron wasn't just a tier difference. It was quite large, like comparing a wooden sword to a metal sword. The boar twitched, trying to process what had just deleted half its HP bar in one hit. Ethan didn't give it time for a comeback episode. His claws, now sharp enough to tear through trees like they are basic tutorial material, plunged into the boar's chest. Clean. Clinical. Ethan pulled his claws from the boar's chest, a familiar blue glow pulsing in his grip. The core sat in his palm like a crown. Mid-iron rank core devour. His first instinct was to spam the devour button like always. But something clicked, a meta-strategy he'd overlooked. Wait a second. The city's core economy worked on a simple rarity system. Higher ranks meant exponentially higher prices. One high iron rank core could fetch triple the value of a low iron core on the market. Meanwhile, one mid-iron rank core could fetch twice the value of a low iron core. But his devouring ability? It didn't care about rarity tiers. I've been playing this all wrong, Ethan thought. The city's system places heavy importance on the rank of the core. I could use that to my advantage. The math was beautiful in its simplicity. Trade one mid-iron core for two low iron cores. Devour both and get double the stats he would have achieved by simply devouring a mid-iron rank core. You have killed Razorback Boar, mid-iron. Ferocious Beast, Razorback Boar devour. Rank, mid-iron. Our enhancement talent, F plus gray. The status window popped up like an end-of-match summary, but Ethan barely noticed it. He was too busy processing how completely he'd just broken the power scaling. In a world where rank meant everything, he just jumped several months' worth of power-ups in one morning. After calming down, Ethan devoured the Razorback Boar. You have devoured the Razorback Boar. Ding! You have gained +3 vitality. It seems like I was right. I need to devour a corpse 3 times before I can upgrade it to the next rank and talent grade. After devouring the boar, Ethan moved deeper into the forest. Not too deep. He wasn't looking to trigger a fight with the big bosses. He couldn't handle that. At least not yet. He went just far enough to farm some extra resources before returning to base. I got a perfect excuse lined up, he strategized. Got separated from the boar and was followed by it until I eventually escaped. His real goal had nothing to do with the mission parameters. Each core could be converted to attribute points, and he needed enough to level his stats into at least mid-iron territory. High iron, if God blessed him. After 3 hours of careful hunting, Ethan had only encountered 3 beasts. 2 mid-iron Shadowfang wolves. After devouring them, only his stats increased with no visible change to his rank or talent. Then everything changed when the beetle appeared. The status window popped up like a rare encounter notification. Ferocious Beast, Black Beetle, rank, mid-iron, protective shield talent, E gray. Ethan's predator instinct screamed jackpot. The beetle was massive compared to the ones from his previous life, sure, but something was off about its movement patterns. The way it wandered aimlessly, like it was lost. Wait a second. Ethan's intuition kicked in. An E-grade talent, but its rank is only mid-iron? This has to be a lost youngling. One problem, though, where there's a baby mob, there's usually a very angry parent mob nearby. No time to overthink the encounter. This is a limited time even, if I had ever seen one. Ethan's body blurred into motion. His claws, already proven capable of almost one-shotting mid-iron targets, aimed at the young beetle. The beetle's defensive instincts triggered at the last possible second. The beetle was about to activate its talent, but it was too late. One clean hit. That's all it took for the beetle to drop dead. The beetle's massive body crashed to the floor. No dramatic death animation, and no special effects. Just another successful farming run. But this one came with an unexpected talent unlock. You have killed mid-iron black beetle. Ferocious beast, black beetle devour. Rank, mid-iron. Protective shield talent, E-gray. Ferocious beast, black beetle devour. Rank, mid-iron. Protective shield talent, E-gray. Ethan's claws sank into the beetle's carapace with a sickening crunch. His wolf senses picked up every nasty detail as he extracted the core, the chitinous texture, the weird insect fluids, the alien anatomy that reminded him why he hated bugs in both lives. Ugh. The sound escaped before he could stop it. No time to be picky, though. Stats were stats. He activated Devour on the corpse. You have devoured the black beetle. Ding. You have gained +2 vitality. Ding. Black beetle is available for transformation. Hell no, Ethan muttered, his wolf forms fur bristling at the mere thought of becoming a beetle. Some power-ups weren't worth it. Ding. You have received the following talent: Protective Shield talent, F+ gray. Ethan immediately checked his status. Human, Ethan Brandon. Rank, Peak Ire. Talents, Enhanced Speed, F grade. Protective Shield, F grade. Iron Enhancement, F- grade. Transformations, Shadowfang Wolf, High Iron. Razorback Boar, Mid-iron. Black Beetle, Mid-iron. Level 1. Health points, 290 mana points, 100. Strength, 10 Agility, 40 Max Iron. Intelligence, 10 Vitality, 29. Free attributes, 0 skills, none. After analyzing his recent gains, Ethan confirmed his theory about attribute limitations. The two wolves had provided 8 agility points, yet only 6 registered in his status. The system had a clear ceiling, 40 points per attribute at the iron rank. Further advancement would require balanced growth across all attributes before attempting the advancement to low bronze rank. Ethan looked up to see that the sky was darkening. All right, it's time to end the hunting session, he thought. His achievements were substantial. Ethan had reached the peak iron rank, acquired a new F-grade defensive talent, and gained an additional transformation option, regardless of his personal aversion to it. The expedition had exceeded his initial expectations. Time to go, he murmured, orienting himself toward the city walls. His enhanced speed activated automatically, carrying him through the forest. 30 seconds into his return journey, the sound reached him. A shriek split the air, emanating from the direction of his beetle kill. The sound carried something beyond mere animal rage, a mother's fury upon discovering her offspring's remains. Ethan's throat constricted. His enhanced hearing picked up the raw power in that cry, suggesting a creature well beyond his current capabilities. That sounded scary, he thought, increasing his pace. The mother's rage translated clearly even across the distance. His rank as a peak iron rank suddenly felt like a joke. Leaves and branches blurred past as he accelerated further. The shriek had confirmed his earlier suspicion about the beetle's age, but that knowledge offered little comfort now. He had essentially speed-run his way into a higher-tier encounter he wasn't prepared to face, but luckily he had escaped before the mother had arrived. Entering inside the city, Ethan was asked by the captain about his late arrival. His team had already told the captain what happened, so Ethan didn't need to talk much before the captain believed him. All right, Ethan, you guys done a good job. After Ethan had left, Captain Morrison frowned as he looked at the forest from the high walls. The beasts have been more active lately. I need to report to the higher-ups. Ethan headed straight for the merchant district, skipping the military base entirely. No point wasting time when there were cores to trade and power to gain. The shop was exactly where he remembered it from yesterday's exploration. Weapons, cores, and skill crystals filled the displays. An old man looked up from behind the counter. "Hello, young man. Is there anything specific you're looking for?" "Just looking around," Ethan replied. "All right." The shopkeeper's smile was professional. Ethan's hopes crashed as he checked the prices. 10 low iron cores for a low iron weapon? That was highway robbery. The skills section was even worse. Guess being poor follows you even after transmigration. No point dwelling on it. He approached the counter and placed his 4 mid-grade cores down. Fresh from today's hunt, they still hummed with residual energy. "I want to sell these." The old man's eyes lit up at the sight of mid-grade cores. "Stars? Or would you prefer to exchange for low iron cores?" Stars were the currency used inside the city, much like dollars in his previous life. Low iron cores. The shopkeeper nodded, not questioning why anyone would trade down. "Any specific type of monster?" The old man asked. "Yes, I want 4 cores of strength-focused beasts and the other 4 of intelligence-focused beasts." The old man nodded, handing the 8 low iron cores to Ethan. Ethan returned to his dormitory. Looking around the room, he didn't find any of his roommates. "Okay, I'm in the clear," he thought, before taking out the cores from the pouch he had. "All right, let's do this." Low iron rank core Devour, plus 5 strength. After devouring the first core, Ethan felt the immediate effect of his strength gain. Excited, he took the next core, plus 5 strength. Taking the last core in front of him, Ethan once again used his talent, plus 5 intelligence. "I've used them all up. I wish I had more. The feeling of getting stronger is intoxicating." Human, Ethan Brandon. Rank, Peak Ire. Talents, Enhanced Speed, F grade. Protective Shield, F grade. Iron Enhancement, F- grade. Transformations, Shadow Fawn Wolf, High Iron. Razorback Boar, Mid Iron. Black Beetle, Mid Iron. Level 1. Health points, 240 mana points. 300. Strength, 30 Agility. 40. Max Iron. Intelligence, 30 Vitality. 29. Free attributes, 0 skills. None. My strength and intelligence attributes have both been increased by 20. I'm close to reaching the limit of Iron rank. Soon I will step into Bronze rank. When I do, I will no longer be cannon fodder. I will be able to either ask for a higher position or simply quit and join a guild. He thought, a smile on his face. 2 days, 1 dead teammate, multiple beast kills, and finally, that sweet level up notification. Alone in his dormitory, Ethan pulled up his status window. Human, Ethan Brandon. Rank, Peak Ire. Talents, Enhanced Speed, F grade. Protective Shield, F grade. Iron Enhancement, F grade. Transformations, Shadow Fawn Wolf, High Iron. Razorback Boar, High Iron. Black Beetle, Mid Iron. Level 2. Health points, 400 mana points, 400. Strength, 40 Agility, 40 Intelligence, 40 Vitality, 40. Free attributes, 5. Skills, none. Some progress. Although not as fast as I wanted, but it's steady nonetheless. Not as fast as he wanted, but steady. Those mid-iron Razorback Boars had pushed his iron enhancement up to F grade. Both his wolf and boar transformations now sat at high iron, ready for the next evolution. If only he could find some high iron or peak iron beasts. That would unlock the real power spike, Bronze rank. But those ferocious beasts weren't exactly hanging around near the city walls. At least the grind had paid off. Ethan had maximum stats across the board for Iron rank, plus that level up bonus, 5 free attribute points to place wherever he wanted. Better save these, he thought, eyeing those unspent points. Never know when you'll need that extra edge in a specific attribute. Ethan turned the low iron core in his hand, anticipation building. This was it, his ticket to Bronze rank. Low iron rank core Devour. Nothing. No rush of power. No system notifications. Just nothing. What? Confusion hit harder than any beast. His stats were maxed. He'd hit the iron rank ceiling. Why am I not advancing? The silence of the empty dorm room offered no answers. His predecessor's memories were useless here. Cannon fodder didn't get briefings on rank advancement. Bronze core. The thought hit like lightning. Of course, you need bronze to reach bronze. He immediately headed to the weapon shop. Another core wasted, but lesson learned. The old shopkeeper's eyes lit up as Ethan entered. More low iron cores today? Not this time. Ethan matched the merchant's smile with his own. I need a low bronze core. The old man's eyebrow shot up. Interest sparked in his eyes. Bronze cores are very rare, the old man said, leaning forward. Only got 6 in stock. All strength-type beasts. That's fine. Ethan kept his voice steady. How much? 5 peak iron cores. The price hit like a physical blow. Ethan's current stash was 5 mid-iron cores and 1 low iron. My net worth suddenly felt pathetic. He shook his head. The math was brutal. 1 peak iron core could get you 4 low iron cores. 5 peak iron meant at least 10 mid-iron cores, and that was just in theory. Reality was even worse. Trading up meant premium pricing. Supply and demand at its finest. Sure, Ethan could trade 1 mid-iron core down for 2 low iron cores all day long. But going the other way? That required extra stars, a convenience fee that made climbing the power ladder exponentially more expensive. No wonder most scouts stay stuck at iron rank, Ethan thought. The system wasn't just rigged, it was mathematically designed to keep the weak in their place. I'll trade this low iron core for stars then, Ethan said, adjusting his strategy on the fly. The merchant's smile widened just a fraction. 100 stars for a low iron core. Quick and clean. The old man handed Ethan the coin pouch after receiving the core. Thanks. Ethan turned to leave. Feeling hungry, Ethan decided to eat at a small restaurant. Just one of countless hole-in-the-wall places that kept District 3 soldiers fed. But after days of bland military rations, even cheap food smelled like gourmet. It's not like buying a meal will make my journey to bronze rank any slower, Ethan thought. As the restaurant came in sight, a woman's back caught his attention as she left the restaurant. Something familiar about her silhouette tugged at his memory, but he couldn't place it. Maybe his predecessor's memories playing tricks again. The meal hit differently after days of military slop, with real flavors and actual seasoning. Thanks for the meal. Ethan dropped 50 stars on the counter, earning wide eyes from the young woman and her father working there. Sir, the woman scrambled for change. The meal's only 25 stars dash. Ethan waved it off, already heading for the door. Keep it. Her grateful smile followed him out. Thank you. Small kindnesses. They didn't advance his rank or boost his stats, but they reminded him he was more than just another grinding monster. Back in the dormitory, Ethan crashed into his bunk. Dawn broke. Another day, another scouting mission. The squad assembled at the gates, weapons checked, expressions grim. Everyone knew the beast activity had spiked. Good news for Ethan, bad news for anyone without a secret power-leveling ability. 500-meter perimeter check, the captain ordered. Standard formation. Perfect setup for Ethan's disappearing act. 2 days of grinding later, Ethan's hands sank into the mid-iron wolf's chest. Core extracted, mission accomplished. Finally, he muttered, the glow of his 10th mid-iron core reflecting in his eyes. 10 cores. The collection had been frustrating. It was as if he was determined to stay in the mid-iron farming zone. He had encountered nothing but mid-iron beasts and nothing of higher rank. But 10 mid-iron cores meant 1 bronze core at the exchange. 1 bronze core meant rank advancement. And rank advancement meant freedom from being a slave to the system. Ethan wiped blood from his hands and checked his status. Still peak iron, but not for long. Tomorrow would change everything. His plan was being fulfilled with each passing hour. Ethan would set up the reawakening scenario during a team mission when danger hits. Act surprised when his rank suddenly jumps to bronze as his talent increases. Play the confused but grateful soldier. Everyone loved a good second awakening story. The military would want to study him, of course. Maybe run some tests. But they'd also value him more. Arriving back at the city, Ethan headed straight toward the old man. The pouch of 10 mid-iron cores hit the counter with a satisfying clink. A bronze core, thank you, he said, cutting straight to business. The old man's eyes narrowed slightly. You're quite fast at farming cores. Are you a hunter? Had some stored, Ethan replied smoothly. Borrowed the rest from friends. The shopkeeper clearly didn't buy it, but cores were cores regardless of origin. Here you go, strength type, low bronze core. The core gleamed differently than its iron counterparts. Same size, but with energy so dense it practically hummed in Ethan's palm. Thanks, Ethan said before leaving hurriedly. He had no time for small talk. Not when Ascension waited. He practically flew back to the dormitory, heart pounding harder than it had during any beast fight. After securing the door with a cabinet, he perched on his bunk and held up his ticket to a new life. Low bronze rank, core devour. Yes. The core dissolved into pure energy, rushing into his body like a river finding the sea. The power surge made his previous level-ups feel like static shocks. This was lightning, raw, and transformative. Ding! Your strength has advanced to low bronze rank. Ethan immediately checked his attributes. He felt that he had broken through significantly. Human, Ethan Brandon. Rank, low bronze. Talents, enhanced speed, F grade. Protective shield, F grade. Iron enhancement, F grade. Transformations, Shadow Fang Wolf, high iron. Razorback Boar, high iron. Black Beetle, mid iron. Level 2. Health points, 400 mana points, 400. Strength, 60 agility, 40 intelligence, 40 vitality, 40. Free attributes, 5 skills. None. Ethan's face split into a grin as he scanned his status window. Low bronze rank. His strength had spiked to 60, officially crossing the threshold. But his other stats remained stubbornly at 40. His talents and transformations hadn't budged either, despite all those mid-iron beasts he devoured. Bronze rank wasn't a simple one-and-done upgrade. Each attribute needed its own bronze core to advance. For more bronze cores meant, well, more grinding. But that could wait. The important part was done. Tomorrow I'll head into the forest and push for an E-rank talent evolution. Then I'll act like I've just reawakened mid-battle. Dawn patrol. Same routine, different day. Captain Morrison stood at the wall, giving the usual speech. Scout the area. Don't engage unless necessary. Captain. A soldier's shout cut through his speech. The general is back. Morrison's stern face transformed instantly. What are you waiting for? Open the gates. The patrol squad exchanged glances. Ethan perked up, curious. He hadn't seen any high-ranking officials since arriving in this world. Stand by. Morrison ordered them. The general's been on an extended mission. We need to welcome him properly. The massive gates groaned open. Nobody was prepared for what came through. A solitary figure stumbled in, drenched in blood from head to toe. Where his left arm should have been, only a ragged, hastily bandaged stump remained. His face was beneath a crimson mask, twisted in pain. Unlike Ethan had expected, there was no triumphant return. No squad of elite soldiers. Just one broken man on the verge of death. General, Morrison's voice cracked with shock. What happened? Where's your team? The general's mouth opened, but no words came out. His eyes rolled back as his legs gave way. He collapsed in a heap just inside the gates. Morrison didn't hesitate. He sprinted out beyond the wall, scanning the horizon for other survivors. Nothing but empty forest and morning mist. Close the gates. Now, he roared, sprinting back inside. Get the emergency medical team here. The wall guards scrambled to obey, panic spreading across their faces. Whatever had happened out there, whatever had taken down an elite team and left only their leader as a bloody messenger, it was coming. Ethan's fingers tightened. His low bronze rank suddenly felt very, very insignificant. After what had happened, the patrol was called off due to increased danger and a city lockdown. All the guards were on alert, waiting for the enemy to appear. During that time, Ethan had learned a few things about city dynamics. The city's hierarchy was as follows. In the city existed 6 generals. All the generals were the peak bronze rank, almost reaching silver rank. Their talents were rumored to be D rank. They all served under one ruler, who was a C rank. His rank had reached the middle stage of silver. The lockdown had put Ethan's plans on hold. A reawakening during patrol would have been perfect, but now he couldn't even leave the city walls. Just his luck. Did you hear what happened to General Liu's team? One soldier whispered in the mess hall. Only the general made it back, and barely, another replied. Whatever they encountered out there must be at least silver rank. Ethan kept his head down, ears open. Information was power, especially now. The 6 generals formed the backbone of the city's defense. Each commanded a specific sector and hundreds of soldiers. For one to return alone, missing an arm and his entire squad. The implications were terrifying. But for Ethan, this crisis offered a new opportunity. When the inevitable attack came, the chaos would provide the perfect cover for his awakening. No one questions miracles during disasters. He just needed to wait for the right moment. The day crawled by without incident. Instead of hunting beasts, Ethan found himself stuck on wall duty, scanning an empty forest that refused to yield any threats. Jack nudged him with an elbow. Boring, right? But hey, at least you won't get eaten today. Ethan nodded, keeping his irritation hidden. Of all the people to be stationed with, it had to be Jack, the human equivalent of background noise. The guy hadn't stopped talking since their shift began. You hear about the general? Jack whispered, leaning closer. They say his entire team got wiped. 30 elite soldiers gone. That part was actually useful. Ethan filed the information away while pretending to stay vigilant. Night fell. Nothing moved in the darkness. No monsters, no attacks, just endless trees and soldier complaints. This is ridiculous, a burly guard grumbled, loud enough for everyone to hear. The general probably killed whatever it was before dragging himself back. I've got kids waiting at home. Others joined in, frustration spreading like wildfire along the wall. 2 days of high alert with nothing to show for it made for terrible morale. The day passed, and news of the general waking up started spreading like wildfire. Have you heard? The general's awake. A soldier whispered during shift change. Yeah, doesn't sound like good news, though. Don't say it. The first man's voice dropped, fear evident in his eyes. 3 mid-silver rank beasts gathering beyond the forest edge. And they're not alone, dozens of lesser monsters following them. Looks like they're preparing to attack the city. The soldier gulped audibly. How did the general even survive an encounter with 3 silver ranks? He didn't fight all 3. Just one, apparently the weakest of them. The others were too prideful to bother with humans. That one beast alone massacred his entire squad. We need to request reinforcements from other cities. Impossible. The nearest city is a week's journey at best. By the time our envoy reaches them and they mobilize the reinforcement troops, we'll be overrun. All we can do is pray for a miracle. Ethan listened with a deepening frown. His carefully laid plans for advancement suddenly seemed trivial compared to the threat. I can't sit idle anymore, he thought, fingers tightening around his weapon. This is beyond dangerous. My bronze rank means nothing against silver beasts. Jack nudged him, breaking his concentration. What's with the serious face? Riding your wool already? His attempt to humor fell flat. Ethan didn't respond. His mind was racing through the possible strategies he could use to get stronger. A coordinated silver rank beast attack wasn't just a threat. It was practically a death sentence for the entire city. A few hours later, night descended. Ethan glanced at Jack beside him, watching the man's eyelids grow heavier with each passing minute. 4 days of constant alert had taken their toll. I'll make my move once he's asleep, Ethan thought, maintaining his vigilant pose while Jack struggled to stay awake. The opportunity came sooner than expected. Jack's chin drooped to his chest, his breathing deepening into the rhythm of sleep. No one else was watching this section of the wall. Perfect timing. Without hesitation, Ethan vaulted over the wall's edge, dropping to the ground below. Thud! The impact that would have broken bones in his previous life barely registered now. Bronze rank warriors didn't concern themselves with such minor falls. He was no longer the weak, expendable Ethan. Activating his enhanced speed talent, he disappeared into the forest. Ethan did not transform as his body's strength exceeded that of his transformations. The forest welcomed him with its nocturnal symphony. Shortly after his entry, Ethan heard a snort from the north. That's a razorback boar, he thought, changing direction toward the sound. What he found wasn't exactly what he expected. 2 razorback boars, engaged in a rather intimate encounter right in the middle of a small clearing. Seriously? In the open? Ethan thought, rolling his eyes. They could have at least found some bushes for privacy. No time for awkwardness. Ethan burst forward, his bronze rank speed reducing the distance to nothing in an instant. The male boar barely had time to register the intrusion before Ethan's fist connected with its skull. Boom! The impact was devastating, bones shattered, brain matter scattered. 1 second, the boar was enjoying a romantic evening. The next, it was dead. Its head had exploded like a watermelon under pressure. The female froze, shock evident in her small eyes. Her momentary hesitation proved fatal. Before she could react, Ethan delivered the same crushing blow. Ethan then devoured their bodies and extracted the 2 cores. No attribute gains registered. He'd already maxed out his iron rank potential. Only bronze cores would advance his stats now. He had only devoured the boars to increase the transformation of their species to high iron rank alongside the iron enhancement talent. And he did. Human, Ethan Brandon. Rank, low bronze. Talents, enhanced speed, F grade. Protective shield, F grade. Iron enhancement, F grade. Transformations, Shadow Fawn Wolf, high iron. Razorback Boar, high iron. Black Beetle, mid iron. Level 2. Health points, 400 mana points, 400. Strength, 60 agility, 40 intelligence, 40 vitality, 40. Free attributes, 5. Skills, none. On to the next target, Ethan muttered, heading in a random direction. Ethan then spent the next 30 minutes wandering around carefully before he found his next target. Ethan crouched behind a fallen log, assessing his targets. 4 wolves. 1 peak iron rank leader with an E- grade talent, flanked by 3 mid-iron subordinates. Perfect challenge for him. It was hard but not dangerous. The pack moved together, their silver-gray coats blending with the moonlit forest. Their leader was much larger. He had a few scars on his body. Finally, a beast stronger than mid-rank, Ethan thought, activating his enhanced speed talent. The world slowed around him. His first move had to be perfect, eliminate 1 mid-iron immediately to even the odds. He selected his target and immediately dashed towards it. The wolves sensed him a heartbeat too late. Howl! Ethan's fist connected with the first wolf's skull, his iron enhancement talent hardening his knuckles to metallic density. The wolf's skull cracked under his fist. The wolf dropped instantly. No chance to yelp or struggle. 1 down. 3 to go. The remaining wolves scattered and started circling around Ethan. The leader's eyes tracked Ethan's movements, intelligence gleaming behind those predatory orbs. It recognized the threat. Come on, Ethan muttered. Let's see what you've got. The 2 mid-iron wolves attacked simultaneously from opposite sides. Predictable. Ethan activated enhanced speed again, stepping between them as they lunged at him. They collided mid-air, tangling briefly before recovering. The leader used this distraction, blurring forward with its E- grade speed talent. Fast, Ethan thought, as his eyes followed the leader. Its fangs snapped inches from Ethan's throat. Ethan twisted, feeling the wind of the near miss. This one was dangerous, faster than anything he'd faced since arriving in this world. The wolf's talent grade exceeded his own by 2 subgrades, which made its overall speed even stronger than his. Need to be smarter, not just faster and stronger, he thought, backing away strategically. The wolves regrouped, spreading out to surround him. They left him no escape route. It's not like I wanted to escape anyway. Now the real fight begins, Ethan whispered. The first mid-iron wolf lunged, jaws open for a killing bite. Ethan sidestepped, grabbed the creature mid-lunge by its scruff, and using its momentum, slammed it against a tree trunk. The impact shattered ribs. The wolf tried to rise, but failed. 2 down. 2 to go. The remaining mid-iron circled cautiously now. The leader hung back, reassessing Ethan's threat level. Ethan could almost see its tactical calculations. These weren't mindless beasts. They learned and adapted. Ethan didn't wait for their next move. He charged the mid-iron wolf, deliberately leaving his right side exposed. The bait worked. The wolf attacked the apparent opening. At the last possible second, Ethan activated his protective shield talent. A translucent barrier materialized, catching the wolf's fangs. The creature's momentum carried it forward into the shield, making ripples across the shield appear momentarily. All the opening Ethan needed. His iron-enhanced fist drove through the wolf's chest, fingers closing around its core. One brutal pull ripped it free, the wolf's body collapsing mid-snarl. 3 down. Just the leader remained. The peak-iron shadow fawn growled, backing away, smart enough to recognize certain death. But Ethan couldn't let it escape. Not with any -grade talent right for Harvest. Its talent should bring my F-grade enhanced speed talent closer to F+ grade. Don't run now, Ethan said, matching the wolf's retreat step for step. We're just getting started. Without warning, the wolf changed tactics. Instead of retreating, it charged directly at Ethan, its speed manifesting fully. The beast became a silver streak, faster than human eyes could track. But Ethan wasn't a normal human anymore. He activated enhanced speed, but the wolf still moved faster, its superior grade showing. Ethan couldn't dodge completely. Fangs grazed his shoulder, drawing first blood. Hiss! The pain was sharp, making Ethan take a deep breath. My turn, Ethan growled, spinning to face the wolf as it circled for another pass. This time, he didn't try to match its speed. Instead, he predicted its path, placed his feet firmly, and activated iron enhancement. His skin hardened, taking on a subtle metallic sheen. The wolf struck again, teeth clamping on Ethan's now reinforced forearm. Fangs that could shear through normal flesh scraped against iron-like skin. Although his talent protected his arm from serious injury, he still felt pain nonetheless. The attack was powerful and his mana was depleting rapidly at the rate he was using his talents. I need to end this fast. Surprise registered in the wolf's eyes, just before Ethan's free hand closed around its throat. With his high strength, he lifted the struggling beast off the ground. Thanks for the talent, Ethan said, tightening his grip. The wolf thrashed wildly, claws tearing at Ethan's clothes and iron-enhanced skin. But without leverage, its strength couldn't match Ethan's bronze rank power. Ethan slammed the creature down, pinning it with his knee on its chest. His iron-enhanced fist rose and fell, each impact cracking bone. Crack! The wolf fought desperately, its speed allowing it to land several glancing blows. Blood streaked down Ethan's face from a lucky claw swipe. The metallic taste filled his mouth. For a moment, his predecessor's life faded, and memories of drowning Jack Thompson surfaced. That same deadly focus, the certainty of victory. The wolf sensed its impending death. In a final desperate move, it channeled everything into its talent. Its body blurred, nearly phasing through Ethan's grasp. Protective shield. The barrier materialized around Ethan's hand, trapping the wolf in an unbreakable grip. Its struggles redoubled, then weakened. Good night, Ethan whispered, delivering the final blow. The clearing fell silent. For dead wolves. For new cores. One E- grade talent waiting to be devoured. He approached the pack leader's corpse first. The E- grade talent was the real prize here. Activating his devour ability. You have devoured the Shadow Fawn Wolf. He did not gain any stat points, but he could feel that his talent was stronger, although it had not evolved to F+ grade. I need one more E- grade wolf to devour. Then my enhanced speed talent should evolve to F+ grade. Ethan thought as he read the next notifications. Ding. You have upgraded the following transformation, Shadow Fawn Wolf. Ding. Shadow Fawn Wolf, high iron dash, peak iron. Not bad, but I don't need that transformation anyway. Ethan grabbed the cores of the wolves and left the area, searching for more monsters to kill and devour. Ethan pocketed the wolf cores and vanished into the night, hungry for more prey to devour. His bronze rank body could handle most threats in this area. Most, but not all. As he crested a small hill, he spotted it. A massive brown bear snoring heavily beneath an ancient oak, its aura pulsing with mid-bronze energy. Even from this distance, he could sense its power. Not today, Ethan thought, backtracking silently. I'll remember this spot, though. That bear's core would be worth the risk once I'm stronger. He turned away, marking the location mentally for a future hunt. 3 weeks ago, he'd have been terrified of even iron rank beasts. Now, he was sizing up bronze, ones like shopping for groceries. Progress. Hey, you. The shout froze him mid-step. Ethan spun toward the voice, muscles tensing for combat. 4 figures emerged from the treeline. Humans, not beasts, all carrying weapons. They seemed to be experienced hunters. Their leader, a scarred man with a crossbow, looked at Ethan. Yes. Ethan kept his voice neutral, lowering his guard fractionally. Humans were safer than beasts, usually. But then again, humans in his previous life had driven him to his death. Never assume safety, he reminded himself, scanning the group for talent indicators. In this world, a human with the right abilities could be more dangerous than any beast. Ethan sized up the newcomers instantly, his status vision activating automatically. Human, rank, mid-bronze, accuracy enhancement talent, E-gray, skills, basic double shot, novice. The others barely registered, peak iron ranks with F-grade talents. Nothing special. The leader, though, mid-bronze with an E-grade talent, that was someone worth watching. Why don't you join us? The man offered with an easy smile. Dangerous out here alone. I'm Jano, and this is... He rattled off names that Ethan barely processed, too busy wondering why a mid-bronze hunter would lie about something as basic as his name. I'm Ethan, he replied, keeping things simple. Something wasn't right. These hunters appeared too suddenly, too conveniently. And why would a mid-bronze talent holder be looking to party up with a random person he saw in the forest? Before Ethan could probe further, the night exploded with sound, a roar that shook leaves from branches and sent birds scattering into the sky. Roar. Shit. The word escaped before Ethan could stop it. The bear. Their shouting had woken it up. Worse, judging by the crashing sound approaching through the underbrush, it was heading straight for them. The forest parted like water as the mid-bronze bear burst into view. Standing nearly 12 feet tall on its hind legs, its eyes blazed with rage at having its slumber disturbed. Its status flashed in Ethan's vision. Ferocious beast, brown bear, rank, mid-bronze, regeneration talent, E-gray. Formation, Ray shouted, confidence dripping from his voice. I'll take it down with a few shots. Ethan couldn't believe the arrogance. Do you even know what talent this bear has? Does it matter? Ray scoffed, readying his weapon. It's just a beast. My new skill will end it easily. The other hunters spread out, following orders. These weren't random adventurers, they were a team. A dangerous one. Ethan made his decision instantly. Good luck with that. I'm out. Ray's eyes hardened. Kid, if you know what's good for you, stay. Otherwise, I kill you before the bear. No hesitation. Ethan activated enhanced speed and bolted. The forest blurred around him as he pushed his talent to its limit. Behind him, Ray cursed but adjusted quickly. His bow snapped up, aimed, and 2 arrows whistled through the air with unnatural precision. Ethan sensed them coming. He spun, activating iron enhancement and protective shield simultaneously. The first arrow shattered his hardened shield and connected with his iron skin, but the second punched through, lodging deep in his shoulder. Arc! Pain exploded through his arm, but he kept running. Ray's E-grade talent and strength was no joke. Deal with the bear first. Ray's voice faded behind him. I'll find that kid later. Blood trailed behind Ethan as he darted between trees, putting distance between himself and the danger. 2 threats in one night, the bear and the hunters. The arrow throbbed in his shoulder. He needed to remove it before pushing forward. What the hell was that about? Ethan thought, ducking behind a massive tree trunk. What the hell was that about? Ethan ducked behind a massive tree trunk, breath coming in sharp bursts. The arrow in his shoulder pulsed with each heartbeat. Without wasting time for gentle removal, he gripped the shaft of the arrow and yanked it out. Hiss! He bit down on the scream, tasting blood as his teeth cut into his lip. The arrow that was in his shoulder wasn't a normal one. It was an arrow of a mid-bronze hunter. He needed to stop the bleeding now. He tore a strip from his shirt, binding the injury amateurly. His mind raced faster than the blood seeping through his bandage. Voices and roars echoed through the forest behind him. The bear fight was still ongoing. I could just leave, but a different plan formed as he caught his breath. No way those fools can handle a mid-bronze bear with regeneration. This is an opportunity. Ethan circled back, moving silently between trees. The scene unfolded before him. Ray fired arrow after arrow, each shot finding vital points with uncanny accuracy. The bear's flesh closed around the wounds almost as quickly as they formed, its E-grade regeneration negating most of the damage. The other hunters darted in with spears and swords, scoring minor hits before retreating. This was going nowhere. The bear couldn't catch them, but they couldn't put it down either. Ethan settled into his vantage point, a smile spreading across his face. The throbbing pain in his shoulder had long since faded to background noise as he watched the chaos unfolding. "Let them wear each other down," he whispered. "The last one standing gets to face me." 20 yards away, Ray's team was learning the hard way that mid-bronze beasts don't follow the rulebook. "What the hell?" Ray shouted, loosing another perfectly aimed shot into the bear's eye. However, the arrow struck true, sinking deep into the bear's hide, only for the wound to bubble and push the projectile out seconds later. This thing's regeneration is insane. He said this would be easy. A hunter with a spear backpedaled as the bear's massive paws swept through the space he'd occupied moments before. "You said one quick kill." Ray fired again, 2 arrows simultaneously piercing the beast's throat. The bear roared, more annoyed than injured. "It should be. No bear regenerates this fast." Frustration edged Ray's voice. "Malik, flank it. Vero, go for the legs." The hunter with twin daggers, Vero, darted in, slashing at the bear's hamstrings. Got it. However, his attack barely did any damage, as the difference between their rank was too high. "Keep it busy. Only I can damage it enough." Ray reached for a special arrow, its tip gleaming with something that caught the moonlight. "I've got one coated with paralysis toxin. It cost me a fortune, but..." The bear didn't wait for him to finish. It charged, moving with shocking speed for its bulk. The hunters scattered like leaves in a storm. God damn it! The fourth hunter, a woman with a curved blade, rolled under the bear's lunge. "This fight isn't worth dying over. Shut up and do your job." Ray snarled, taking aim with his specialty arrow. The paralysis arrow flew true, striking the bear's neck. For a moment, hope flashed across the hunters' faces. The beast staggered, shook its massive head, and kept coming. Impossible. Ray's composure cracked. That toxin could drop a silver-rank human. "We need to abort," Malik panted, blood streaming from a gash in his side. "This thing's not natural." 3 minutes, Ray insisted, pulling more arrows. "I can do this." Formation Beta. The hunters moved like they'd practiced this 1,000 times, creating a rotating pattern of attacks to confuse the bear. It might have worked on a normal beast, but this one simply absorbed the damage, regenerated, and pressed forward with relentless fury. Ethan analyzed every move, cataloging strengths and weaknesses. Ray's accuracy was phenomenal, every shot finding vital spots that would kill anything without that regeneration, whilst the others were simply there for distraction. "It's core," Vero shouted after narrowly avoiding disembowelment. "We need to destroy the core." Smart, Ethan thought. Beast cores channeled their talents. Destroy that, and regeneration stops. I can't pinpoint it through all that mass. Ray's frustration boiled over as he fired 3 more arrows in rapid succession. Each one struck perfectly. Each one pushed out as the wound sealed. The woman fighter limped back, clutching her arm where bone showed through torn flesh. "Ray, I'm done. This isn't working. We need to escape." The bear roared again, this time with a note of triumph. It could tell its opponents were starting to get weaker. The injuries and fatigue were taking their toll on them. Malik went down next, the bear's paw catching him mid-dodge. His scream cut off abruptly as he slammed into a tree trunk. "Malik!" Vero abandoned formation to check on his fallen comrade. Ray cursed viciously. "Stay in position." Too late. The carefully orchestrated dance fell apart. The bear capitalized immediately, focusing on Ray, the one who was causing the most damage to it. Fall back. Ray finally gave the order everyone had been waiting for. Defensive retreat. Ethan suppressed a chuckle. Perfect. Ethan crouched lower, calculating his strike path. The hunters were retreating directly toward his position, too focused on the rampaging bear to watch their backs. They're battered and in disarray. If I capitalize while they're running this way, I can catch Ray off guard with my speed. The bear roared again, its massive body showing signs of fatigue despite its regeneration talent. Countless arrows protruded from its hide before being slowly pushed out by healing flesh. Time for my cleanup duty as a good Samaritan. Ethan activated his enhanced speed talent, the world slowing around him. He'd have one shot at this. The injured hunters sprinted through the forest, Ray covering their retreat with his arrows. 20 meters. 15. 10. Ethan exploded from cover. A bronze-rank missile aimed straight at Ray's back. The hunter's E-grade accuracy talent made him deadly at range, but close combat was a different game entirely. Surprise! Ethan whispered as he closed the distance. Ray sensed him at the last second, instinct screaming danger. He spun, but already knocked. Too late. Ethan's iron-enhanced fist connected with Ray's jaw. Crack! Many bones in Ray's face cracked under Ethan's iron-enhanced fist. The sickening sound echoed through the forest as the hunter crashed to the ground, jaw shattered and hanging at an unnatural angle. You! Ray's words came out garbled, blood spraying with each attempted syllable. Boss! A voice shouted from behind. Ethan spun to see Ray's teammates charging back, weapons drawn. The woman with the curved blade led the charge. Too slow, Ethan muttered, activating his enhanced speed. He met her halfway, ducking under her wild swing. His iron-enhanced fist drove into her sternum with a sickening crack. She dropped without a sound, eyes wide with shock as life left them. The other hunters skidded to a halt, suddenly reassessing their chances. One down, Ethan called out, voice cold. Who's next? The bear's roar answered for them. The massive beast crashed through the tree-line, its regenerated wounds barely visible now. Run! One of the remaining hunters shouted, abandoning Ray without hesitation. The forest behind them exploded as the mid-bronze bear charged into the clearing, his eyes locking onto the nearest target, Ray. Still struggling to stand with a shattered jaw, Ray's life flashed before his eyes. Ethan saw the bear charging, and he made his decision in an instant. You will not be stealing my talent orb, Mr. Bear, he declared, dashing toward Ray. Without holding back, his fingers found Ray's neck in an instant. A cruel crunch echoed through the forest as a vertebrae shattered. Crunch! You have killed a mid-bronze rank human. Human, rank, mid-bronze, accuracy enhancement talent, E-grade devour. Skills, basic double shot, novice. Having no time to waste as the bear closed in, Ethan immediately activated his devour ability, absorbing the Ray's talent. You have devoured accuracy enhanced talent, F+ gray. No attribute gains registered. Ray's highest affinity clearly wasn't strength-based, but Ethan had what he wanted, a new talent. He snatched up Ray's bow and quiver, creating distance between himself and the enraged bear with a burst of enhanced speed. Time to check out my accuracy, Ethan said, a cold smile forming. But his first target wasn't the bear. He swung around, bow drawn in one fluid motion, and aimed at Ray's last remaining teammate trying to escape. Acha! The man barely registered what was happening before an arrow whistled through the air. The projectile found its mark with deadly precision, piercing straight through the fleeing hunter's skull. He dropped without another sound. No witnesses. It's better that way. Glancing at the bear who was staring him down, Ethan smiled. Now, big boy, I don't like the way you're looking at me. Ethan smiled as he pulled the bowstring and aimed at the beast. The arrow flew true, striking the bear's chest, only to pop back out as tissue regenerated but slower than before. Seriously? Ethan fired again, this time aiming for the throat. Same result. At least it's taking longer for the regeneration to happen. He is tired. The bear charged, surprisingly fast for something so massive. Ethan darted sideways, his speed keeping him just ahead of those massive claws. TSK. If only I could project my iron enhancement toward the arrow. But I can only transform parts of my body. Another shot, another regenerated wound. His mind raced through tactical options. The bear matched him in raw speed. His 40 agility boosted 1.5x by his talent put him at low bronze level, which was 60 points in agility, right where the bear's natural quickness stood. But the creature's strength and vitality clearly outclassed his own. Based on its fight with Ray's team, strength is probably low bronze too. But vitality? That's its main attribute. He circled, keeping distance while analyzing weaknesses. No wonder the regeneration is so potent. The bear roared, frustrated by this elusive prey. It smashed through a tree trunk like it was paper, sending splinters flying in all directions. Ethan ducked behind a boulder, his arrows nearly depleted. Tiring him further isn't working. I really need to find that core. Core, he muttered. Need to find its core. The bear reared up, searching for its vanished target. Ethan took a deep breath. Time for a risky play. Instead of aiming at the bear, he pointed his bow skyward. Not one, not two, but 3 arrows launched straight up, disappearing into the night sky. The bear tilted its massive head, momentarily confused by this strange prey. That's right, big guy. Watch the shiny distraction. Ethan abandoned his cover, stepping into the clearing. No more ranged attacks. He needed to get close to test his theory. The bear's roar shook leaves from branches as it charged towards him. Ethan activated enhanced speed, darting to the side at the last possible moment. The beast's momentum carried it forward, crashing through the space he'd occupied. Too slow. Ethan taunted, circling around. The bear spun with surprising agility, one massive paw swiping a deadly arc. Ethan ducked, but not quite fast enough. The bear's claws grazed his shoulder, tearing through flesh. Hiss! Damn, he hits like a truck. Blood welled from the fresh wound, but Ethan kept moving. He countered with a lightning-fast jab to the bear's flank, his fist enhanced with metal. The impact would have shattered stone, but the bear barely flinched. Seriously? Ethan backpedaled as another paw swipe nearly took his head off. What does it take to hurt you? The dance continued. Ethan striking, testing, probing for weakness. Each attack targeting a different area. Heart, throat, joints, head. The bear shrugged off most blows, but something interesting happened when Ethan landed a hit to its abdomen. He flinched. It was the same flinch that humans exuded when you would target their weakness. A priority in defense that wasn't present elsewhere. Interesting. Ethan narrowly avoided being crushed, rolling between the bear's legs. Most cores are near the heart, but you're guarding your belly pretty carefully. After another exchange, Ethan scored a solid hit to the bear's sternum. Nothing, he thought, as the attack barely fazed the bear. But when his next strike grazed its lower abdomen, the bear went berserk. That's it, Ethan muttered, as he dodged a furious counterattack from the bear. Your core isn't by your heart like other monsters. It's in your abdomen. Roar. The bear roared, angry at the pest that had taken its prey. Ethan needed an opening. I need one clean shot at the abdomen, but the bastard is protecting it fiercely. It should be time. His eyes flicked upward, tracking his falling arrows. He moved carefully, herding the bear toward the right position. The massive beast followed his movements, trying to rip Ethan apart. Come on, just a little more. Ethan backed up slowly. There, perfect position. He stopped moving completely. The bear, surprised by this sudden stillness, hesitated for just a heartbeat before launching a devastating strike. Sweat beaded on Ethan's forehead as the massive paw descended toward his face. Every instinct screamed at him to move, to dodge, to do anything but stand there. Wait, wait. He forced himself to remain still. The timing had to be perfect. The bear's paw was inches from his face when it happened. 3 arrows plummeted from the night sky, gaining lethal velocity from their fall. They struck the bear's head simultaneously, burying deep into its skull. The beast roared in pain and confusion, its attack faltering as it reared back. Now, Ethan shouted, pumping himself up for the decisive strike. He activated all 3 talents at once. His iron-hard hand plunged into the bear's exposed abdomen. Flesh parted, blood sprayed. His fingers pushed deeper, searching, until they connected with something solid and warm. The core. The bear, despite its agony, wasn't finished. Its massive paw swung around, aiming to crush the human attached to its belly. Ethan's fingers closed around the core, yanking with all his bronze-rank strength. Tissue tore. The core came free in a spray of blood. He ducked away at the last possible second, the bear's claws whistling through the air where his head had been moments before. The massive beast staggered, its regeneration talent suddenly offline. Without its core, it was no longer as invincible as before. Ethan didn't waste the opportunity. He launched a flurry of strikes, each one enhanced with metallic density, targeting joints and vital spots. The bear tried to defend, but its movements grew sluggish without its core powering its abilities. One final blow to the temple dropped the massive creature. It crashed to the forest floor with a ground-shaking impact, dark eyes clouding over. Silence fell over the clearing. Ethan stood panting, covered in blood. His shoulder throbbed where the beast's claws had caught him. His muscles screamed from the strain of fighting at maximum output. But in his hand he held his prize, a gleaming mid-bronze core. Worth every scratch, he muttered, examining the core. It was larger than any he'd seen before. Ferocious beast, brown bear. Regeneration talent. E-grade, devour. Rank, mid-bronze. Mid-bronze rank core, devour. Ethan didn't hesitate. He activated devour, the core dissolving into pure energy. The same feeling of overwhelming energy overtook his body. He felt as if a dam inside his body broke, and energy kept flowing. Ding! Your vitality has advanced to low bronze rank. +5 vitality. Nice! Ethan softly exasperated. The mid-bronze core had allowed his vitality to advance to low bronze and had enough left to give him 5 attribute points. I would have loved to exchange the bronze core with 3 low bronze cores, he thought, sighing in regret. The reason Ethan devoured the bronze core was because he wanted to devour the bear after. Had he not devoured the core before devouring the bear, he would have missed out on the attribute points he could get from the bear. You have devoured the brown bear. You have gained the F+ talent, regeneration. You have gained +5 vitality. Brown bear is available for transformation. Human, Ethan Brandon. Rank, low bronze. Talents, enhanced speed, F. Protective shield, F+. Iron enhancement, F. Accuracy enhancement, F+. Regeneration, F+. Transformations, Shadow Fawn Wolf, Peak Iron. Razorback Boar, High Iron, Black. Beetle, Mid Iron. Brown Bear, Mid Bronze. Level 2. Health points, 700 mana points, 400. Strength, 60. Agility, 40. Intelligence, 40. Vitality, 70. Free attributes, 5. Skills, none. His shoulder wound began closing even as he watched, the torn flesh knitting together at visible speed. His first healing talent, and an F+ grade at that. Not bad for a night's work. 4 dead hunters, 1 dead bear, and 2 new talents. Acquired, plus whatever equipment the hunters had carried. Sometimes risk paid off. Ethan rummaged through the hunters' bodies, collecting anything useful. Ray's bow was a definite keeper, but as his eyes landed on the hunter's hand, he froze. Is that a storage ring? His voice rose with excitement. The simple band looked ordinary, but Arthur knew how valuable a storage ring was. Storage rings were the domain of the wealthy and powerful, not random hunters. It required a human with the space element to create it after all. Those with such talent are incredibly scarce and only live in the strongest cities. When Ethan touched it, something clicked in his mind. A new sense awakened inside of him. It was unlike sight, touch, or any of the 5 senses. It was a strange awareness of items existing in a pocket dimension. Weird, he muttered, testing the connection. Can't see the contents, can't touch them directly, but I know they're there. He wasted no time dumping his newly acquired loot into the ring, whether it was cores, weapons, even the bear's body as trophies. The evidence of his night's work vanished instantly. I don't have much space left, he thought. Curious, he checked the second hunter's status. Shield talent? Seriously? Ethan rolled his eyes. Should have put more arrows in him. He deserves to suffer before dying. Although he was annoyed he didn't get a new talent, he realized something new about his talent. Ethan couldn't devour talents similar to those he already had. Since this hunter's shield ability ranked lower than the beetle's talent he'd already devoured, he was unable to gain a new talent. Good to know, he muttered. Ethan moved quickly to the woman's body next, kneeling beside her still form. Blood had pooled beneath her curved blade, now lying uselessly at her side. Let's see what you've got, he muttered, activating his status vision. Human Mira. Rank, Peak Ire. Dagger wield talent. F grade, Devour. Ethan's eyes lit up. Now, this is useful. Unlike the shield talent, this was something new. He activated Devour without hesitation, the woman's body dissolving into energy that flowed into him. You have devoured dagger wield talent. F. Instantly, his awareness of blade handling expanded. Grip techniques, slashing angles, vital point targeting. Knowledge that would have taken years to master suddenly became intuitive. He picked up her curved dagger, testing its weight. His hand automatically adjusted to the perfect position. It feels like the blade is an extension of my arm. Ethan exasperated as he tried, slashing a few times. Wish. 4 talents now. Ethan grinned, storing the dagger in his new ring. Getting crowded in there. Dawn is going to creep in soon. I need to move before the city wakes up, and my absence is noticed. With one last glance at the battlefield, Ethan activated enhanced speed and disappeared into the forest. The evidence would rot away or be consumed by scavengers. Nothing to connect him to this night's work. Besides, who would suspect a talentless scout of killing bronze-rank hunters and a mid-bronze beast? Ethan approached the city walls under cover of night, his new enhanced speed making the journey back a blur. Perfect timing, he whispered, spotting his section of the wall. Jack remained slumped against the battlements, still in deep sleep. With a quick glance to confirm no wandering eyes, Ethan climbed the wall. 30 seconds later, he slipped back into position beside Jack, who hadn't moved an inch. The nearest guard was stationed too far to have noticed his absence, and the shift change was still an hour away. Some security, Ethan muttered, settling in as if he'd never left. Jack stirred beside him, mumbling something incoherent before settling back into sleep. I've already changed my clothes, my wounds have healed, so no sign of combat can be spotted. Everything should be good. The eastern sky lightened from black to purple to fiery orange. Dawn patrol would arrive any minute, he thought. Ethan nudged Jack with his boot. Hey, wake up. No response. He kicked harder. Monsters. Where? Jack jolted upright, his eyes wildly jumping, as his hand fumbled for his weapon. Ethan shook his head at the pathetic display. Relax, man. There are no monsters. Shift change in 5 minutes. Ethan nodded toward the patrol assembling below. Unless you want latrine duty for the next month, get your act together. Jack's bleary eyes widened as reality hit. He straightened his uniform, wiped drool from his chin. Shit. Thanks, man. Seriously, don't mention it. Ethan shrugged, the gesture hiding his inner satisfaction. Perfect alibi, the helpful teammate who covered for a sleeping guard. Jack smoothed his hair, checked his weapons. I owe you one. They'd have my head if they caught me sleeping on watch. Just doing my job. The irony almost made Ethan smile. Ethan, Jack, rotation time. The patrol captain's voice carried up from below. Ethan stretched, his muscles pleasantly sore from the night's exertions. Let's go, he said, leading a still groggy Jack toward the ladder. Ethan headed to his dorm, feeling somewhat fatigued. I will sleep for a few hours first, he thought, as his head plummeted onto his pillow. His eyes closed and his consciousness drifted. A few hours later, Ethan's eyes snapped open, his body feeling rejuvenated. Much better, he mumbled, stretching with a satisfied groan. After a quick wash, he threw on a coat and headed out. Glancing inside his storage ring, Ethan couldn't help but grin at his new net worth. I have 5 peak iron cores, 10 mid-iron, and 20 low-iron cores. This should be enough for a decent skill, he thought, as he pushed open the door of the weapons shop. Welcome back, the old man said, glancing up. Ethan nodded. Nice to see you again, old man. He headed straight to the skills section, where descriptions were displayed on small parchments behind protective glass. The actual skill crystals remained locked away. After searching for a while, a skill caught his attention. Basic footwork. Rank, elementary. Price, 6 mid-iron. The description promised improved movement efficiency, balance control, and evasive capabilities. Perfect complement to his enhanced speed talent. I want this one, Ethan said, tapping the glass. Ethan took out a pouch with 6 mid-iron cores, setting it on the counter with a satisfying clink. The old man weighed the pouch in his palm, then nodded. He disappeared into the back room, where a heavy metal safe contained his valuables were. The lock clicked open, and he returned with a crystal glowing with soft blue light. Press it to your forehead. Knowledge transfers instantly, but mastery takes practice. Ethan took the crystal, its surface cool against his skin. The moment he channeled a hint of mana, information flooded his mind. Whether it was weight distribution techniques, ankle positioning, pivot points for maximizing momentum, they were all transferred to his mind. The crystal crumbled to dust as its knowledge transferred. Skill acquired. Basic footwork. Novice 0%. By the way, Ethan asked, trying to sound casual, did you get any bronze cores with speed or intelligence attribute? The old man shook his head with a wry smile. Beyond my supply chain. You might want to check the bigger stores in the 2nd district. He gestured vaguely toward the wealthier part of the city. Bronze cores are rare to make it down to our humble district. Worth asking. Ethan thought before he turned to leave. After leaving the weapon shop, Ethan headed straight for the small restaurant he'd visited before. The familiar scent of grilled meat and spices welcomed him before he even stepped through the door. Welcome back. The young woman spotted him immediately, her face brightening as she recognized him. Ethan found himself smiling. Thanks. Same table. She gestured toward the corner spot he'd occupied before. Works for me. She led him over, wiping the table quickly before he sat. What'll it be today? We've got fresh river fish if you're interested. What would you recommend? Ethan asked. Personally, the sweet and sour chicken. My father's specialty. Her eyes crinkled at the corners when she smiled. But I might be biased. Sold. Ethan nodded. And whatever you have that's strong to drink. Coming right up. She turned to leave, then paused. I'm Lynn, by the way, in case you need anything else. Ethan. She nodded, seemingly pleased with this small exchange, and disappeared into the kitchen. Before the food could arrive, Ethan felt a tap on his shoulder. Before the food could arrive, Ethan felt a tap on his shoulder. He spun around, instantly alert, then froze. Tiana. The name escaped his lips before he could stop it. Standing before him was a woman with straight pitch-black hair cascading past her shoulders, partially hidden under a simple baseball cap. Her face wore no makeup, not that she needed any. Her skin was flawlessly white, a perfect canvas for those sky-blue eyes that had haunted his predecessor's memories. Ethan. Her voice carried the same musical quality, though tinged with disbelief. It really is you. His mind raced. This wasn't part of the plan, but as she stood there, the embodiment of his predecessor's greatest regret, Ethan realized he had a different problem. This woman knew the original Ethan Brandon intimately. If anyone could spot that he wasn't the same person, it would be her. What are you doing here? He managed, trying to sound natural. I could ask you the same, she replied, adjusting her cap. This is quite far from the military district. Something flashed in her eyes, hope mixed with hesitation. The memories of their final conversation hung between them like a physical barrier. May I? She gestured to the empty chair across from him. Ethan nodded, buying precious seconds to formulate his response. Tiana slid into the chair across from him, her analytical gaze sweeping over his face. You look different, she said. Military life changes people. Ethan kept his voice neutral, watching her reaction. No, it's more than that. Her head tilted slightly. You seem stronger, more confident. Why are you in this district? He asked, changing the subject. Thought you'd be in some high-end research facility. Why not? Tiana shrugged, a hint of defiance in her voice. Just because I'm in a research facility doesn't mean I can't come to this district to eat, right? Before Ethan could respond, Lynn appeared with a steaming plate of sweet and sour chicken, her eyes darting between Ethan and his unexpected guest. Oh, sorry to interrupt. It's fine, Ethan said quickly. Lynn placed his food down with more force than necessary, the sauce nearly sloshing over the edge. Anything for your friend? Her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Just tea, please, Tiana responded, either not noticing or choosing to ignore Lynn's sudden coolness. Coming right up, Lynn lingered a moment longer than needed before heading back to the kitchen, glancing over her shoulder once. Ethan took a bite of chicken, using the moment to gather his thoughts. He had to act the same way the other Ethan was, passive-aggressive. So, Tiana leaned forward, those analytical eyes focused entirely on him, scout duties going well, as well as can be expected for cannon fodder. She winced, her brows contorting. Don't call yourself that. Just stating facts. He took another bite. Some people get B-grade talents. Others get military conscription. You know, I remember, he cut her off. The less she dug into his predecessor's decisions, the better. Water under the bridge now. Lynn returned with tea, setting it down gently. Anything else? She asked, this time looking directly at Ethan. We're good, thanks. Tiana took a sip of tea, studying him over the rim of her cup. What do you think about the beast tide? Ethan asked, abruptly changing tactics. Her eyes sharpened instantly. The rumors about silver ranks gathering? Or the general increase in activity? Both, he said. One of our generals returned half dead yesterday. Something big is coming. Tiana glanced around before leaning closer. It's not random. My research shows definite migration patterns. The beasts are being pushed here from the north. Pushed? By what? That's the question, isn't it? Her voice dropped lower. The Institute thinks it's just seasonal movement, but my data suggests otherwise. Something's forcing them south. Ethan's mind raced. A threat that could push silver rank beasts? That was beyond anything the city was prepared for. The higher-ups aren't listening, she continued, frustration evident. They never do until it's too late. And when will it be too late? Based on current migration speeds? Tiana's expression turned grim. 2 days. For at most. Lynn appeared again, hovering nearby. Everything tastes all right. Perfect, Ethan said without looking away from Tiana. We're fine. When Lynn reluctantly moved away, Tiana sighed. She likes you. What? No. Ethan frowned, genuinely caught off guard. Social subtleties weren't exactly his priority right now. She's just doing her job. Sure. Tiana's knowing smile was infuriating. And she just happens to check on you every 3 minutes when there are 6 other tables to serve. Can we focus? Ethan tapped the table. 3 days until potential disaster seems slightly more important than this. Some things really don't change. You're still terrible at noticing when women are interested. Ethan bit back a response. The original Ethan might have been oblivious, but he had more pressing concerns than Lynn's apparent interest or Tiana's amusement. These migration patterns, he redirected. Have you spoke about them? She scoffed. I've tried to get this to one of the generals, but his staff blocks everything that doesn't come through proper channels. And proper channels mean? District 2 military bureaucrats who think a B-grade talent should stick to theory and leave field assessments to real soldiers. The bitterness in her voice was clear. Ethan studied the diagrams more carefully. If Tiana was right, and her analytical talent suggested the city was woefully unprepared. Silver-ranked beasts aren't the real threat, he thought, as he looked at the white clouds and the blue sky. After finishing the food, Ethan stood up. It was nice talking to you again, Tiana. He left enough coins on the table to cover both their orders and headed for the door. The beast-tide information changed everything. 3 days wasn't much time. Tiana's eyes followed him, sadness washing over her face. Her fingers fidgeted with her spoon, turning it over and over. "Ethan, I miss you," she whispered, too softly for him to hear. Lynn appeared to clear the table, glancing between Tiana and the door Ethan had just walked through. "Friend of yours?" she asked, trying to sound casual. Tiana managed a small smile. "Something like that." Once, outside, Ethan was feeling conflicted. He could tell that the body he resided in wanted Tiana. He could tell there was lingering feelings. But still, Ethan did not act in a hurry. "I need to understand this more deeply. I need to think about it more." Ethan sighed, smoke coming out of his mouth in the cold weather. Outside, Ethan felt the original owner's emotions stirring. A pull toward Tiana that wasn't entirely his own. The body remembered her, wanted her. Complicated, he thought, exhaling a cloud of vapor into the cold air. "Need to think this through." He slapped his cheeks lightly. "Focus." The beast tide wouldn't wait for him to sort out his predecessor's love life. Hours later, Ethan stood on the city wall, Jack beside him, as usual. The night sky stretched endlessly above them, stars glittering like distant cores. "You look dead on your feet," Ethan commented, glancing at Jack's slightly drooping eyelids. "Didn't sleep well. Too much thinking about those silver ranks." "Want some coffee?" Ethan offered casually. Jack's eyes brightened. "Oh yes, you're a lifesaver." Ethan handed him a steaming cup. "Careful, it's hot." Jack gulped it down eagerly, unaware of the sleeping agent Ethan had mixed in. The drug was subtle but effective, fast-acting and metabolized before dawn. "Good stuff," Jack murmured, already blinking heavily. 3, 2, 1. Ethan counted silently. Jack's chin dropped to his chest. "Out cold." Ethan waited 2 more minutes to confirm, then vaulted over the wall. Another night, another hunt. With the beast tide approaching, every core counted. This time, he had specific targets in mind. If silver ranks were coming, he needed every edge he could get. The forest welcomed him like an old friend as he activated his enhanced speed talent. Time to level up. Surprisingly, Ethan didn't have to search long before encountering his first beast, a low-iron beetle ambling through the underbrush. The sight was unusual. He hadn't seen low-iron ranked creatures before. He dispatched it with a single strike, extracted its core, and moved on. Within the hour, his kill count rose rapidly, for mid-iron beasts and 5 low-iron creatures, all seemingly wandering without purpose. Each fell to his bronze-rank strength with minimal effort. Ethan frowned as he extracted a core from his latest kill, a mid-iron boar that had barely put up a fight. Something's wrong, Ethan thought, scanning the unusually active forest. Low ranks shouldn't be this far out, and the increased number of beasts is concerning. He hesitated, weighing his options. The smart move would be heading back to the city walls. But these beasts are basically free cores walking around. His practical side won out. They're not threatening yet. Might as well capitalize. Decision made. Ethan pushed deeper into the forest, each step taking him further from safety but closer to potential power. Somewhere in the forest, hidden in a massive clearing, a large group of beasts gathered. Hundreds of beasts stood in unnatural stillness, grouped by species and rank. And commanding them all, 3 silver-rank beasts that shouldn't exist in the same territory, let alone cooperate. The largest, a silver serpent 50 feet long, raised its massive head. Its scales gleamed like liquid metal in the moonlight. Ferocious beast, silver serpent. Rank mid-silver. Poison talent, D+ gray. Beside it, a massive gorilla with crystalline growths covering its body flexed enormous arms. Ferocious beast, crystal 8. Rank mid-silver. Crystal hardening talent, D+ gray. The third was a 6-legged panther. Ferocious beast. Panther. Rank mid-silver. Speed talent, D+ gray. The lesser beasts stirred, sensing the orders being passed among their leaders. Hunger. Anticipation. The promise of a feast unlike anything they'd experienced in generations. The city walls might as well have been paper. Oblivious to the gathering apocalypse, Ethan kept heading deeper into the forest. Ethan hunted through the darkening forest for hours, taking down the usual mix of shadowfawn wolves and razorback boars in the area. Not bad, he muttered, tallying his haul. 5 mid-iron, 3 high-iron, and 10 low-iron cores. He transferred them into his storage ring. The beast's ranks weren't high enough to give him stats anymore, but cores were still a currency. As twilight painted the forest in deepening shadows, Ethan finally headed back toward the city. No sense pushing his luck with whatever was driving the beast toward the walls. He checked his status on the return journey, a smile playing across his lips. Human, Ethan Brandon. Rank, low bronze. Talents, enhanced speed, F. Protective shield, F+. Iron enhancement, F. Accuracy enhancement, F+. Regeneration, F+. Dagger wield, F. Transformations, Shadow Fawn Wolf, Peak Iron. Razorback Boar, High Iron. Black Beetle, Mid Iron. Brown Bear, Mid Bronze. Level 2. Health points, 700 mana points, 400. Strength, 60. Agility, 40. Intelligence, 40. Vitality, 70. Free attributes, 5. Skills, Basic Footwork, Novice, 8%. 8% Mastery already. His footwork skill was developing quickly. The walls loomed ahead, Jack still snoozing at his post. Just like yesterday, Ethan scaled the barrier with fluid grace, slipping back into position without alerting any other guards. Another successful night, he smiled as he stood at his post. But his instincts told him time was running short. Whatever was coming wouldn't wait much longer. 10 hours later, Ethan's eyes snapped open. Today's the day I complete my bronze transformation, he thought, splashing water on his face. 2 more attribute cores, and I'll have officially entered the bronze rank in all aspects. Ethan's plan was simple. Hit District 2's core exchange, find bronze cores with agility and intelligence attributes, and complete his advancement before the beast tide hits. Every hour counted now. If Tiana's right about the 3-day timeline, I've got maybe 48 hours left. But I won't let my life depend on an estimate. To my knowledge, they could be coming at this second. I need to make every minute count. The checkpoint between districts came into view, the line already forming with merchants and workers seeking access to the wealthier section of the city. 2 low-iron cores for entrance. Highway robbery, but it can't be helped, Ethan thought. When his turn came, the guard gave him the standard District 3 treatment like he was inspecting something scraped off his boot. 2 low-iron rank cores, the man demanded with an arrogant smirk and his palm outstretched. Ethan's status vision activated automatically. Human, Joseph. Rank, mid-iron. Strength talent, F. Skills, none. Pathetic, Ethan thought. I could break him in half without using a single talent. But that's not today's mission. He handed over 2 cores from his pocket. Keep the storage ring hidden. Don't need the attention. As he stepped through into District 2, the difference was blatantly obvious. Like crossing into another world, he marveled. And to think this is still considered the middle district. Clean streets stretched before him, buildings with actual paint and decorative elements. People walked with straight backs and purpose. They didn't have the same desperate looks and hollow eyes as those living in the 3rd district. No wonder the military asked for an entrance fee to enter the 2nd district, Ethan realized. If the poor knew what they were missing, there'd be riots. Core Exchange District, 3 streets east, near the research facilities where Tiana probably works. He thought, remembering the answer one of the people living inside the 2nd district told him. The Core Exchange building appeared ahead, 3 stories of actual stone and glass, not the cobbled-together structures of District 3. This is it, Ethan steeled himself. Get the cores, complete the transformation, prepare for what's coming. He pushed through the doors, ready to take the next step in his evolution. The Core Exchange interior was polished and very tidy. Behind the counter stood a woman with honey blonde hair tied in a perfect bun, her uniform crisp and spotless. Her eyes flicked over Ethan, lingering on his clothes before putting on a professional smile. Welcome to Central Core Exchange. How may I assist you? Looking for bronze rank cores. Agility and intelligence attributes. She nodded her head. We have a limited selection of agility and intelligence-based cores. Let me check our inventory. She tapped a crystal panel, scrolling through options. You are quite lucky. We only have one low bronze agility core available currently. What's the price? Ethan nodded, happy that he was able to get it. 5 peak iron cores plus 1 mid iron. Ethan did the quick conversion. 22 low iron equivalent. Slightly pricier than the old man's shop would charge, but the old man doesn't have agility-based bronze cores. I'll take it, he said, producing the cores from his pocket. She unlocked a drawer beneath the counter and removed a small box. Low bronze agility, verified and certified. She opened it, revealing a core that pulsed with faint blue energy. Beautiful. Intelligence core? Ethan asked. Intelligence core? Ethan asked, heart racing at the thought of completing his bronze transformation. We have 2 intelligence cores, she replied, tapping her crystal panel. They're more expensive due to the nature of hunting beasts with high intelligence. Ethan nodded. Everyone knew intelligent attribute beasts were rare, dangerous, smarter, and more strategic, making them harder to spot hunt. How much? 6 peak iron cores and 1 high iron core. Ethan ran the mental calculations instantly. 27 low iron equivalent. Steep, but worth it. I have no peak iron, just 3 high iron, 8 mid iron, and 20 low iron, he thought, weighing his options. I don't have any peak cores, he admitted. Would 3 high iron, 8 mid iron, and some low iron work instead? The saleswoman's eyes narrowed slightly, running her own calculations. In that case, she finally decided, your high cores and mid cores, plus 8 low iron. 5 extra low iron cores. The exchange penalty, Ethan noted. Price gouging, but he needed that core. Deal. He produced the pouch, counting out the cores carefully. Excellent choice, she said, retrieving the intelligence core from a locked drawer. The 2 cores nearly took his entire savings. Damn, I thought I was finally rich, but I'm back to being broke. Ethan, though, with a wry smile, as he sensed his 12 low iron cores his only savings. But if they help him survive what was coming, they'd be worth every bit. Anything else today? She asked, wrapping his purchases. That's all, Ethan replied, already imagining the power these cores would unlock. Full bronze status across all attributes. After leaving the building, Ethan couldn't help but grin at his purchases. Full bronze rank, he thought, already imagining the power boost. The voice cut through Ethan's thoughts, interrupting his moment of happiness. Come on, Tiana. I'm sure you've got some time to spare. He turned to see a well-dressed man with slicked back hair, clutching flowers while blocking Tiana's path. The guy's clothes screamed money, premium fabric, custom tailoring, the kind of outfit that costs more than a fodder salary in a decade or perhaps longer. Tiana's uncomfortable expression said everything. She kept trying to step around him, but he smoothly countered each move. Supervisor Han, I really need to get back to the lab. Those migration patterns. Work, work, work. All you do is work, the man complained, leaning closer. One dinner won't kill you. Ethan's status vision activated automatically. Human, Han Wei. Rank, low bronze. Mental enhancement talent, E. Skills, basic footwork, novice, 2%. Basic breathing technique, novice, 5%. Basic swordsman stance, novice, 2%. Ethan nearly snorted at the pathetic skill mastery. 3 basic skills, none above 5% mastery. Classic rich kid syndrome. Access to the best training resources money could buy, but 0 dedication to master any of them. No way he reached low bronze by himself. Ethan thought, scoffing internally. Probably been fed cores to the limit by a rich daddy. All that privilege wasted on someone who won't put in the work. Han Wei was exactly the type Ethan despised, born with every advantage and still mediocre. Meanwhile, scouts died in the forest because they couldn't afford a single core to boost their strength. Hey you, Ethan called out, his voice cutting through the one-sided flirtation. Both Tiana and Han turned, surprise written across their faces. Tiana's head snapped up, eyes widening. Ethan, Han Wei turned, annoyance flashing across his face. Who's this? None of your business, Ethan replied, stepping closer. Han looked him up and down, sneering at his clothes. District 3? Really? Tiana immediately got closer to Ethan and whispered, "Stop it. He's the general's son." A week ago, Ethan might have backed down from a general's son. Not anymore. "I don't care if he's the emperor's son," Ethan replied, loud enough for Han to hear. "He doesn't get to harass you." Han's face flushed red. "Who the hell do you think you are? Some District 3 trash talking to me like that." "Ethan, please," Tiana tugged at his sleeve. Passers-by slowed, sensing drama. They rarely saw such encounters, and they were entertained by public confrontation. Ethan shot back. "What are you doing besides bothering researchers who might save your life?" Han stepped forward, puffing up his chest. "You filthy." Tiana moved between them, panic flashing across her face. "Wait, I have time to meet up. Where did you want to go?" Han's rage cooled slightly, a smug smile replacing his snarl. "Nice to see someone with proper respect. I was thinking Golden Leaf Restaurant. My treat, of course." "Perfect," Tiana nodded, relief evident in her voice. She glanced back at Ethan with pleading eyes. "Sorry, we'll catch up another time." Han shot Ethan a triumphant look. "I'll let this peasant live today. Just for you. Otherwise," he made a crushing motion with his hand. Tiana took a hesitant step toward Han, but before she could move further, Ethan grabbed her wrist and pulled her back. "She's not going anywhere with you," Ethan said, his voice deadly calm. "And you're nothing but a spoiled brat living off Daddy's name." The crowd that had gathered audibly gasped. No one, absolutely no one, dared to speak to a general's son like that. No one, absolutely no one, spoke to a general's son like that. Han's face contorted with rage. "You're dead." His hand shot to his waist, drawing a gleaming short sword. The blade hummed with enhancement energy as he charged forward. "Ethan!" Tiana screamed. Too late. Han thrust the blade toward Ethan's chest with textbook form, but amateur execution. Ethan activated basic footwork, shifting his weight at the perfect angle. The blade missed by millimeters. Before Han could recover, Ethan's fist connected with his stomach. The impact lifted Han off his feet. He crashed into a nearby fruit stand, apples scattering across the street. "By the only true God," someone whispered. "He just attacked Han Wei." Ethan stood calmly, waiting. Han struggled to his feet, vomiting on the cobblestones. "I'll kill you." He charged again, this time activating his basic swordsman stance. The blade glowed faintly as he swung. Ethan dodged the attack. The crowd went silent. Ethan stepped forward, his speed carrying him in a Han's garb before anyone could blink. One precise strike to the chin sent Han crumpling to the ground, unconscious. The entire fight lasted less than 10 seconds. "You!" Tiana stared at him with wide eyes. "What did you just do?" "Made a mistake," Ethan admitted, looking around at the stunned faces. His cover was blown. Every person in the crowd had just witnessed him defeat a general's son. "We need to go," he muttered, taking Tiana's hand. "Now!" The whispers followed them as they hurried away. "Did you see that shield?" He moved faster than my eyes could track. "Someone get the city guard." Before leaving, Ethan did not leave Han Wei. He grabbed the short sword and took it. "Someone get the city guard." Before fleeing, Ethan scooped up Han's fallen short sword, testing its weight with appreciation. "Ethan!" Tiana gasped, eyes wide. "What?" He shrugged, sliding the blade into his belt. "I've already knocked him out. They'll hunt me either way. Might as well have something to defend myself with." They sprinted through back alleys, dodging confused pedestrians until they reached an apartment building in the research district. Tiana fumbled with her keys, hands shaking as she unlocked her door. Once inside, she slammed it shut, sliding the bolt home with a definitive click. She kicked off her shoes, throwing her bag onto a nearby chair before rounding on him. "Ethan!" Her voice trembled between rage and concern. "What have you done?" "The general's son, his only son. Everyone knows he dotes on that boy obsessively. No one, absolutely no one, dares to even raise their voice to him, let alone knock him unconscious in public." She paced the small living room, hands gesturing wildly. "You just made an enemy of a silver-ranked powerhouse." Ethan leaned against her bookshelf, surprisingly calm for someone who just committed social suicide. "You're right," he admitted. but I couldn't control myself. I couldn't watch him harass you like that. Tiana stopped pacing, her cheeks flushing pink. You what? I couldn't let him treat you that way, Ethan repeated, surprised by his own sincerity. This wasn't just his predecessor's emotions. Something about Tiana resonated with him too. She sat heavily on her couch, studying him like one of her research specimens. Who are you? She whispered. What do you mean? The Ethan I knew would never. She gestured vaguely. He was kind, but never confrontational. He avoided fights, and he certainly didn't have a talent to make him so powerful. The accusation hung in the air between them. People change, he said, fingers tracing the spine of a research book on her shelf. Sometimes dramatically. Not like this. Not in months. Her analytical mind was piecing it together too quickly. You were able to knock out Han Wei, and he is bronze-ranked warrior. Ethan sighed. His cover was blown anyway. The question was how much to reveal. Second awakening, he said, the prepared excuse rolling easily off his tongue. Happened during a scout mission. Almost died. Her eyes widened. That's rare, I know. But documented, she finished. It happened to General Feng 8 years ago. Nearly dead, then suddenly. A pounding on the door interrupted them. City guard, open up. A pounding on the door interrupted them. City guard, open up. Tiana paled. They found us already? Ethan's mind raced through options. Fight or flee, he thought. He glanced at the window, striding over to push it open. A 15-story drop greeted him. No guards visible below. He turned to Tiana. Open the door. What? Where are you going? Her eyes widened as she glanced between him and the open window. Don't tell me you're jumping. We're 15 stories up. Trust me. Without hesitation, he vaulted over the sill and disappeared. Tiana's heart leapt in her throat. She rushed to the window, expecting to see his broken body on the pavement. Nothing. The pounding on her door intensified. Open it now. She closed the window with shaking hands. Coming. 2 armored guards burst in the moment she unlocked it, weapons drawn. Their eyes scanned the apartment, finding nothing but research papers and coffee cups. We're looking for a suspect who attacked General Han's son, the lead guard announced, stalking through her living space. Where is he? I don't know, Tiana said, forcing her voice to remain steady. The second guard checked the bathroom, the closets, even under the bed. Finding nothing, he moved to the window and threw it open, leaning out to scan the building's exterior. The first guard said, looming over her, a District 3 citizen. Where's he hiding? Tiana swallowed hard. I don't know, she said, the truth making her lie more convincing. I tried to ask him to give himself in, but he didn't listen. The guards exchanged skeptical glances. You expect us to believe. Search the apartment again if you want, Tiana interrupted, gesturing around. Does it look like I'm hiding anyone? The lead guard stepped closer, his breath hot on her face. You realize harboring a criminal is an offense punishable by. A third guard burst through the door. Sir, they've spotted him 2 blocks west. Without another word, they rushed out, leaving Tiana alone with her racing heart and a slammed door. She collapsed on her couch, her mind spinning. Had Ethan somehow survived that fall? How? And where was he now? A few minutes later, a soft tapping sound answered her question. It came from the window. Tiana approached the window cautiously, her heart hammering against her ribs. The tapping came again, more insistent. She drew back the curtain and gasped. Ethan hung from the ledge outside, one hand gripping the stone while the other knocked on her window. He looked completely unbothered by the 15-story drop beneath him. She yanked the window open. How? Can I come in first? A bit exposed out here. Tiana stepped back as he swung himself inside with effortless grace, not even breathing hard. You jumped from a 15-story window, she stated flatly. Technically, I climbed down the side of the building. Well, mostly. That's impossible, says the researcher studying beasts. He grinned, brushing dust from his clothes. This world's full of impossible things. Tiana sank into a chair, staring at him like he'd grown a second head. The guard said they spotted you 2 blocks away. They indeed did. Because I made them spot me, Ethan replied. Tiana sank into a chair, staring at him like he'd grown a second head. The guard said they spotted you 2 blocks away. They indeed did. Because I made them spot me, Ethan replied, the corner of his mouth lifting in a half-smile. Then how? I'm simply fast. Lost them in seconds, then climbed back up here. He brushed the dust from his sleeve like scaling a 15-story building was nothing unusual. Tiana nodded slowly, processing this new reality where the once timid Ethan could outmaneuver city guards and climb sheer walls. What are you going to do now? Ethan shrugged, the weight of his new circumstances settling on his shoulders. To be honest, I'm not sure. Worst case, I'll leave the city and live in the forest. That's dangerous. I know, but it's my only option. His eyes met hers. And beasts are safer than humans sometimes. Tiana crossed the room, her mind racing through scenarios that could help Ethan survive the hurdle. You could request asylum at the research facility. With your abilities, they'd protect you. Yes, they would for a short period of time, Ethan said, leaning against the window frame. Then they discard me once the general applies enough pressure. Then let me help you. Tiana grabbed a notebook from her desk, fingers working furiously across the page. We could reach out to the orphanage. They might let you stay there for a while. The guard would never look there. She continued scribbling, talking more to herself than to him. Mrs. Chun still runs the place. She always liked you, and they're chronically understaffed, so having another adult around. Ethan watched her planning his escape, a strange feeling blooming in his chest. In his previous life, no one had ever fought for him like this. Even in this life, his predecessor's memories showed him always standing alone. Why would you risk yourself for me? Tiana paused, pencil hovering over paper. Her eyes met his, something vulnerable and fierce in them simultaneously. Because you just did the same for me. With Han. Tiana lowered her head, voice barely above a whisper. Can I hug you? Han. The request caught him completely off guard. Her cheeks flushed pink, eyes still fixed on the floor. Hearing no response for a few seconds, Tiana gave in to the pressure. It's okay, I understand. Before she could finish, Ethan's arms wrapped around her like a warm blanket on a freezing night. Something inside him responded before his mind could catch up. Tiana stiffened for a split second, then melted against him, her fingers digging into the fabric of his shirt as if afraid he might disappear again. Days of sadness and regret, all of it poured into this single embrace. I thought I'd never see you again, she whispered against his chest, voice cracking. You just walked away. No goodbye, no nothing. Ethan tightened his grip, his chin resting on top of her head. The scent of her hair, faintly floral, triggered flashes of memories that weren't quite his. Study sessions under oak trees. Shared meals during exam week. The look on her face when the talent crystal had remained dark for him. I'm sorry, he said, meaning it more than he'd expected to. Her pain was real, regardless of who had caused it. Tiana pulled back just enough to meet his eyes, tears glistening on her lashes. I missed you, idiot. Before he could formulate an answer, she rose on her tiptoes and pressed her lips against his cheek. The kiss was brief, hesitant, a question more than a declaration. When she pulled away, her eyes searched his face for a reaction. Ethan stood frozen, his mind racing to catch up with his thundering heart. This wasn't part of the plan. None of this was part of the plan. He was meant to lay low till he made it to at least silver rank, so that he could make sure he was safe from harm. That was unexpected, he whispered. District 1, inside Han Wei's mansion. The mansion was adorned with valuables, whether it was marble floors, crystal chandeliers, or beast heads that were hung like trophies. And in the center of Han Wei's private chamber, absolute chaos erupted. Where is he? Han hurled an antique table against the wall. The rosewood masterpiece, hand-carved by a famous artisan and worth more than most low-tier magic weapons, shattered on impact. His personal attendant Lin Zhao flinched but maintained his composure. 20 years serving the Han family had taught him when to speak and when to stay silent. Calm down, young master, he finally ventured when Han paused to catch his breath. He will definitely be found. I've already dispatched our information network with his description. He can't hide forever. Han's face twisted with rage, a purple bruise blooming on his jaw where Ethan had struck him. Not good enough. I want every team we have looking for him. Every single one. But the beast tied preparations. I don't care. Han grabbed a priceless vase and smashed it against the floor. Find him. Find anyone related to him. Parents, siblings. I want his entire lineage in front of me. His voice dropped to a whisper, somehow more terrifying than his shouting. I will burn them all alive while he watches. He made me, a general's son, into a laughingstock. I'll repay him tenfold. Lin Zhao bowed deeply. Of course, young master. When the attendant left, Han collapsed into his chair, fingers tracing the bruise on his jaw. He had suffered public humiliation, the one thing the Han family could not tolerate. His father would return from the emergency council meeting soon. Will you be all right? Ethan said, feeling slightly worried that Han Wei would do something to her due to his actions. Tiana nodded with a soft smile. Don't worry. If he had the power to do something to me, he would have done it before. Ethan nodded, although he wasn't entirely convinced. Seriously, he can't touch me. So, basically it's like this. I can't completely shoo him away, and he can't force me to do anything against my will. So we're stuck in this loop of me always rejecting him, and him always coming back. After a few rounds of convincing, Ethan nodded. All right, I have a friend in the 3rd district. I will stay at his place for a while. I will visit you every now and then, so don't worry. Tiana nodded, her eyes glancing at him worriedly whilst his hands warmed hers. Stay safe, okay? She whispered as they hugged, her arms unable to completely wrap around his thick, wide back. You too, Ethan said, before giving her forehead a kiss and leaving through the door. After closing the door behind him, Ethan pulled on his hood, making his face obscure from vision. Ethan then took the stairs to head down. He didn't want to meet anyone inside the elevator. After descending the stairs, Ethan paused in the building's lobby. I will wait for someone to leave with me, just in case someone is still watching. I can decoy myself with them. Minutes later, a young mother emerged from her apartment, pushing a child's buggy. Perfect. Excuse me. Ethan approached, voice soft and unthreatening. The woman was startled. Why, yes. Hi, I'm a new neighbor. Heard your footsteps. Could you guide me outside? I'm blind. Ethan lied smoothly, keeping his eyes unfocused. Haven't memorized the layout yet. Oh, of course. Sympathy replaced suspicion instantly. Do you need me to hold you? If possible, thank you. She took his arm gently, guiding him toward the exit while talking soothingly to both him and her child. Outside, the watcher's gaze flicked to Ethan briefly, then dismissed him upon seeing the woman and child. Not my target, his expression clearly said. Amateur, Ethan thought, having already caught him through his peripherals, maintaining his blind man act until they reached the main street. Thank you so much, he told the woman. I can manage from here. Are you sure? It's no trouble. Positive. You've been very kind. Once she disappeared into the crowd, Ethan slipped into an alley. Arriving in a secluded alleyway, Ethan scanned for witnesses. After 30 minutes of checking if anyone would come through, Ethan concluded that it was relatively safe for his next action. There are no windows overlooking this spot. Perfect. Time to level up, he thought, retrieving 2 bronze cores from his storage ring. The first core, his ticket to true agility, pulsed with blue energy in his palm. Its power called to him, promising speed beyond human limitations. Low bronze rank core Devour. He activated his ability without hesitation. The core dissolved, transforming into pure energy that flooded his system. Like his previous advancements, this one hit like lightning, coursing through every fiber of his being. Ding! Your agility has advanced to low bronze rank. Ethan gasped as the sensation peaked. His muscles felt lighter, more responsive, like they'd shed some fundamental limitation. Even standing still, he sensed how much faster he could move now. No time to savor it. He immediately grabbed the second core. Low bronze rank core Devour. This time, the energy rushed to his mind. Ethan felt his mana regeneration and capacity increase greatly. Ding! Your intelligence has advanced to low bronze rank. Ethan closed his eyes, letting his status window materialize in his mind. Human, Ethan Brandon. Rank, low bronze. Talents, enhanced speed, F. Protective shield, F+. Iron enhancement, F. Accuracy enhancement, F+. Regeneration, F+. Dagger wield, F. Transformations, Shadowfang wolf, peak iron, razorback boar, high iron, black beetle, mid iron, brown bear, mid bronze. Level 2. Health points, 700. Mana points, 600. Strength, 60. Agility, 60. Intelligence, 60. Vitality, 70. Free attributes, 5. Skills, basic footwork, novice, 8%. Finally, he whispered, all attributes upgraded. This was what he'd been working towards for the past week or so. He rolled his shoulders, feeling the new power settle into his body. His enhanced speed talent would be exponentially more effective now, with bronze rank agility to support it. Ethan approached the district wall, separating wealth from poverty, luxury from necessity. Need to sneak back into District 3, he calculated, studying the guard patterns from the shadows. Unlike the massive forces guarding the city's outer walls, the district barriers were lightly manned. Quality over quantity, fewer guards but stronger ones. The weakest was mid-iron rank, with team leaders at low bronze. Ethan counted quickly. 3 low bronze commanders. 15 lesser guards ranging from mid-iron to peak iron. Child's play now, he thought, activating enhanced speed. The guard's attention focused inward toward District 3, watching for desperate people trying to sneak up, not privileged ones trying to sneak down. Who would voluntarily go from luxury to squalor? The very concept was absurd to them. Ethan darted between shadows, his movements too quick for normal eyes to track. His new bronze rank agility, coupled with his enhanced speed talent, made him incredibly fast. He reached the wall's base, calculating angles. 20 feet up. 3 guards are on patrol. But if I time it correctly, I would be able to slip through a blind spot. He scaled the wall in seconds, his fingers finding minute cracks and holds. At the top, he froze as a guard passed just 5 feet away. The guard paused, frowning. Did you hear something? His partner yawned. Probably rats. There are always rats in 3. I guess so, the guard shrugged. The moment they turned, Ethan vaulted over the wall, his descent controlled and silent. He landed in an alley on the District 3 side, instantly blending with the dingy surroundings. Too easy, he thought, brushing dust from his clothes. The buildings leaned against each other like drunks supporting one another. Home, such as it was. Ethan oriented himself quickly. I can't go back to the military. I would be doomed. He thought, with a soft frown. His only option was to lie low for the next couple of days, and, according to his estimates, his hiding would only be for a day or two before the monsters start swarming the city. He would then be able to roam free and gather more strength. At that time, Han Wei's dad wouldn't have the time to look for him with the ongoing war with the beasts. I should be able to reach at least peak bronze rank when the beast tide hits. With all my talents, I would be able to face the general, even if he was low silver rank, he thought. The bell above the door jingled as Ethan entered the small restaurant. The late hour meant only a few patrons remained, hunched over their steaming bowls under the moonlight that filtered through the windows. Lynn spotted him immediately, a smile brightening her tired features. Welcome. Thanks, Ethan replied with a smile, choosing a corner table with a clear view of both exits. After exchanging a few pleasant talks, she brought him a soup he always ordered without asking. As the last customers filtered out, Lynn collected his empty bowl. Ethan slipped 100 coins onto the table, far more than the meal cost. Excuse me, he said as she turned to leave. Could I speak with your father? Her eyes widened slightly. My father? Aye, sure. She disappeared into the kitchen, returning moments later with an older man. His hands bore the calluses of someone who'd worked hard his entire life, but his eyes remained kind despite the obvious fatigue. My daughter says you want to talk. Was the food not to your taste? I could make you another one. The man wiped his hands on his apron. No. The food was great, but I just wanted to ask you for a favor. Oh, I need a place to stay. 1 or 2 days at most. I'll pay 1 low-iron core per day. The father's eyebrows shot up. A low-iron core wasn't little by any means. The rate he was giving them was the price of inns. I can't go to an inn, Ethan added before the man could speak. It's complicated. Understanding flickered across the older man's features. In District 3, complicated usually meant trouble with authority or debt collectors. Our home is small, he said hesitantly. Just rooms above the restaurant. My daughter takes the bedroom. I sleep in the living space. I won't be trouble, Ethan promised. Just need somewhere to lay low, no matter how small it is. The man rubbed his chin. I'm sorry, it's quite difficult. 2 low-iron cores per day, Ethan countered. I won't stay long. Lynn, who had been pretending to clean nearby tables, nudged her father's arm. Don't worry, Dad. Accept it. Her whisper carried a surprising conviction. Her father glanced between them, clearly torn between caution and compassion. All right, son. The old man sighed, decision made. You can stay. And don't worry about payment. It's okay. The place is quite small. I can't take money for it. Ethan stared at him, genuinely shocked by the generosity. In both his lives, kindness without expectation had been rare. Thank you, he said simply, the words inadequate for what they were risking. Lynn's father nodded. You can take the couch in the storage room. It's clean, but not exactly comfortable. It's okay. You've been generous enough. The old man smiled. Lynn, show him the storage room while I finish closing. Lynn led Ethan through the kitchen to a small door at the back. Sorry for the tight space, she said, unlocking it with a worn key. We don't usually have guests. The storage room was small, but meticulously organized. Bags of rice and flour stacked neatly against one wall, jars of preserved vegetables along another. In the corner sat a worn couch, clearly old but clean. It's perfect, Ethan said, meaning it. After sleeping in military barracks and forest clearings, this felt luxurious. Lynn fidgeted with her apron. Can I ask you something? Sure. You're in trouble, aren't you? Like, serious trouble. Ethan considered lying, then decided against it. Yes. Lynn's eyes widened, but she didn't back away. But don't worry, he continued quickly. I'll only stay here to sleep. The rest of the time, I'll be out. He glanced at the back door he'd already spotted. Scout habits died hard. Perfect escape route. If anyone comes looking for me, just say you haven't seen me. I'll slip out this exit before they can check. Ethan gestured toward the door. Nobody saw me enter. They'll just be asking around, not conducting serious searches here. Ethan's plan was simple. Hunt in the forest during the night and come back to sleep before dawn. Before she left, she gave Ethan spare keys to the storage room, so he is able to enter and leave. Ethan checked his equipment. I currently have 2 weapons, Han Wei's short sword and Ray's bow. Both should prove useful, especially Han Wei's sword. Through the thin walls, Ethan heard Lynn and her father speaking in hushed tones. Worry colored their voices, but no regret about helping him. Meanwhile, across District 3, Captain Morrison stood at attention as 2 soldiers in pristine uniforms approached. Though they shared his peak iron rank, Morrison's posture and expression betrayed his subordinate position. The insignias on their shoulders told everything. Direct subordinates to General Han himself. Captain Morrison, the taller one, assessed him with cold eyes. Yes, sir. We're searching for one of your scouts. The soldier produced a sketch. Ethan's face rendered with uncanny accuracy. Ethan Brandon, assigned to your wall guard rotation. Morrison's brow furrowed. Brandon? What's he done? That's not your business. Your role is to report him once spotted and assist in his capture. The taller soldier leaned closer. Do not engage alone. He's dangerous. Understood. Yes, sir. Morrison nodded mechanically. What about his patrol duties? The 2 soldiers scoffed. Do you think he will come back? Find another person to take his spot. He is too busy hiding like a rat. After the 2 soldiers left, Morrison stood there for a moment. Ethan, just what have you done? He muttered before relaying the news to all the soldiers. While soldiers searched District 3, Ethan was already approaching the city walls. The night guards were pathetically predictable. They had the same patrol patterns, same blind spots, same weaknesses. He'd watched them for days as he sat on the wall on his duty. Those observations really paid off in a way I didn't predict. As he was observing, Ethan saw a distracted guard checking his pocket watch instead of the perimeter. Perfect. His speed carried him up and over before anyone noticed. To the naked eye, he was just another shadow in a world full of them. No time for iron-rank beasts, he thought, moving deeper into the darkness. Each minute was precious. Each kill needed a count. His first target appeared within minutes. A peak iron razorback is not a bad warm-up. Ethan smirked before taking out his bow. The boar spotted Ethan and immediately used its talent, sensing the danger coming from the human in front of it. Ferocious beast, razorback boar. Rank, peak iron. Iron enhancement talent. E. Ethan pulled his bowstring before letting it fly. Whoosh! The arrow flew with insane speed towards the boar, piercing its head without any obstruction. You have killed razorback boar. One shot. One kill. Ethan muttered with a smile before picking up the arrow once again. Ethan then devoured the boar's body instantly, placing the core inside his storage. The boar didn't give him any attribute points, but that was okay. He continued deeper, his senses alert in case he entered a dangerous zone. I don't know where the silver rank beasts are. I need to be careful, whilst also looking for bronze rank beasts. I need to gain some attributes now. Ethan's eyes scanned for prey. As Ethan dived deeper into the forest, a high-pitched screech split the air. Ethan's instincts screamed danger before his mind processed the sound. He activated enhanced speed, body blurring backward, just as something massive hurtled toward his face. Ugh! The creature shot past where his head had been a millisecond earlier, its pincers snapping at empty air. A beetle. It wasn't small by any means, it was a behemoth, the size of a sheep. Its carapace shone obsidian black, reflecting moonlight in sickly patterns. Viscous fluid dripped from mandibles large enough to sever a man's arm. The stench of rot and decay surrounded it like a miasma. Ferocious beast, black beetle rank, mid-bronze, iron enhancement talent. The beetle twisted in midair, wings buzzing with unnatural speed as it realigned for another attack. Damn, that was close, Ethan muttered, drawing Hanwei's sword. Another inch, and I'd have been kissing those mandibles. The beetle charged again, its speed startling despite its bulk. Ethan sidestepped, feeling air displacement as it shot past. Their speeds matched, a realization that registered as both surprise and opportunity. His bronze-rank agility, amplified by his enhanced speed talent, allowed him to match the higher-ranked beast. But as the beetle banked for a third pass, its carapace glinted with metallic hardness. E-grade iron enhancement versus his measly F-grade. In a direct clash, the beetle's natural armor would shatter his attack. Ethan circled the massive insect, calculating his options. Direct confrontation would end poorly for me. Need to target weak points instead of brute force, he thought, scanning the environment for advantages. The forest floor offered natural advantages that he could use to help him fight the beetle. Jagged rocks, narrow passages between tree trunks. I could use that, Ethan thought, spotting two massive trees. The beetle banked sharply, its wings creating a high-pitched whine as it prepared another diving attack. Its trajectory was predictable. It was a straight line designed to impale him on those massive pincers. Ethan backed towards the two massive trees standing close together, their trunks creating a natural choke point. The gap between them was barely wide enough for his shoulders. As the beetle charged, he timed his dodge perfectly, slipping between the trees at the last possible moment. The insect followed, tucking its wings to squeeze through the narrow passage. Ethan activated Protective Shield just as he cleared the gap, creating an invisible barrier that filled the space between trees. The beetle slammed into it with bone-crushing force, its momentum suddenly arrested by the shield that had already turned into particles at that point. The impact still stunned the creature, disrupting its flight. Ethan didn't hesitate. He launched himself onto its back, Hanwei's sword targeting the vulnerable joint where the beetle's wing connected to its body. The blade sank deep, severing delicate membranes and drawing black ichor that sprayed across his face. Crunch! Splat! With one of its wings' capability damaged, the beetle screeched in fury, rolling violently to dislodge itself. Ethan hung on, driving the blade deeper, disabling one of its wings.